Oi, oi, oi. Hello, everybody. Hello,
Oh,
chat.
hello.
Hello, chat.
Hello, chat.
Oh, howdy.
We'll get started here in a couple minutes. If Mike Minotti shows up.
Who the hell knows if you I was testing the thingy on the cloud. It doesn't work.
Okay. Does not work in the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, noted.
Then I forgot to. I need to talk to Mike about his Twitch thingy because he can integrate it to this Discord and we can make all his subscribers have access to the secret channels on this Discord.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, I forgot. I told him when he started streaming. I was like, I need to tell you something, and then I forgot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can get that set up. That's good. Good point. What am I trying to do? Oh, I was going to bring up Slack. No, I was going to bring up the questions. Forums.google.com. And
Warzone 2? Oh shit! That shit is happening. I forgot.
That's happening. Warzone Mobile's happening. It's gonna be a lot of Call of Duty.
Warzone Mobile, wow.
Yeah,
they keep
inevitable.
ranking it. It's a new set on Magic. I'm happy. I like it. There's full of ninjas and there's samurais. There's fox samurais. It's fucking awesome.
Did you get high again, Christian? Did you get high again?
No.
Christian busted out the hard cider early.
Yes, exactly. The hard cider he probably makes in a bathtub. Argentinian tomatoes. I don't know. All right, now I'm gonna open
different
Slack.
from regular tomatoes. They're bigger tomatoes.
Uh-oh.
Where is Mike?
He said this morning at 7:49 9 a.m. You told me to remind you about NPD, but I forgot to remind you. So that's always a good start. And then at 11:20, that would be 10 minutes ago, I may be running a little behind, but I'll be on soon. All right. Fair enough.
Story.
Hey,
he
everybody,
keep watching the. Sorry,
don't tell Mike, but I'm already playing Mina the Hollower. I got it. I got a demo. So I'm going to tease him about that. Yeah.
Send him a screenshot.
Yes, I should just be playing it when he comes in. I could maybe do that.
Oh, yes. Can you stream it? No, you can't.
I can. They want you to because they want people to see it and they want people to go to.
You
their,
should do it because Mike is here. Look at this. No.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
He's not
muted. Mike.
He's muted. Mike. His mic is
tired
muted.
Of your
there we go.
Your lies.
Uh-oh. Which ones?
Wait.
No, that wasn't a lie. I wasn't muted. I had push to talk on, so I guess.
Mike, can you do me a solid? I want to test something.
No. What?
Oh. Okay, go to the games thingy on the Discord here.
Yeah.
Go to server settings.
I see user settings.
Server setting. No, that's an arrow. Okay, this is gonna be complicated.
An arrow. I found it. Server settings. Calm down. Yeah. I got it.
I'm scared. I don't know how you work.
What do you want now?
Go to integrations.
Oh,
yep.
Mike.
Then go to Twitch.
I don't have that.
You don't have that. Okay, good. That's. Wait, give me a second.
Off to a great start.
Up to a great start. Give me a second.
I have webhooks and channels followed and integrations. That's it.
Okay, I made you an admin now. Let's see. It's scary. Get out of it.
Why am I not an admin? This is my channel more so than anyone's. Even Jeff's.
Okay, try again. To get out of that menu and join.
I know try again means.
Spicy Mikey today. All right.
Yeah, it's still. I don't have that still.
You don't have that. You don't have Twitch.
I have webhooks and channels followed as integrations. Maybe it needs a moment. Maybe we can try again after the show.
Yeah, after the show we try again. Okay.
Okay.
That was weird. I want your subscribers on Twitch to be able to join the subscribers here, to gain access to the secret channels and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I understand. We'll figure that out.
Because I saw that you can do it, but I don't know how.
Oh, look at this. The news has already been organized. I guess Jeff was doing that probably while waiting for me.
I actually got on a little bit early, got it all done, taken care of. Yeah.
I'm glad one of us.
Oh, you know what? I should go through Edge and close some stuff. Let me see.
Yeah, because that thing you had pulled up was going at like 1 frame a second.
Listen, we don't need to, that was weird, and I'm worried about it, but it is an early access demo, so all right.
What are you talking about?
I'm not going to talk about anything.
Secrets.
I'm not talking about anything.
Ooh.
Okay, we're gonna get started here in a second, everybody. Just hold up. All right, let's.
So, hey guys.
Oh.
When are we doing Jeopardy?
Yeah, we're doing it tonight.
Well, when is Azja gonna do it with us, or is it just
Azja can do it. He's got to do it later. He has to do it once his kids go to bed, so it's like probably like 9:30 Easternish.
Okay, would that be okay with you, Turbo Sean?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
I'm actually gonna see him after the show, so I can tell him.
Okay, well, I'm gonna set up a. Why is this thing broken on here?
Why is there a Yacht Club Games logo slowly scrolling down?
You don't need to worry about that.
What are you talking about?
You don't have to worry. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
AJ's in chat. He says it has to be after 9 p.m. Eastern is what he says.
Okay. Well, I'll set up a private, not a private, but an unlisted YouTube channel or YouTube video and put it in the Cool Kids channel.
Make it illegal.
Once I get it scheduled.
Stream elements.
Give me that illegal YouTube link.
That's what I'm forgetting. What is that? All right.
Do you like that you like Lost Ark? What's going on?
I'll talk about it on the podcast.
Okay.
That's content.
Yeah, it's content, baby. That's content, baby. Okay. Hello, everybody. We're gonna get started here right now. Let's just test.
Wait, what the hell? Did you play Mina?
Yes.
Like, they asked this Game Boy Color hating freak to play Mina? He's even wearing the sweater. Oh my! He didn't even tell me. Oh.
We'll talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, you better explain yourself.
It's even worse. It's even worse than that, actually. So let me see here.
Oh my god, he made Mina. It's his. He's been in charge of Yacht Club Games this whole time.
It was me, Michael.
The whole family.
It was me.
All this time is being spent making Mina. There are no children. There are no meat. That was just all CGI.
Connected to the right. Oh, I am.
We have to tweet.
We have to tweet. All right.
I'm gonna yell at Jeff more than usual. Jeff.
Mike, now that you're admin on the Discord, you can just straight out nuke the Discord if you want to.
Finally.
Oh, don't tell him that.
It might be for the best.
That's inevitable.
It might be for the best.
You just straight out murder
We'll see how
everybody.
mad Jeff gets me. We'll see if anybody ever tries to steal coins from me in Mario Party again while I'm in last place. See how that goes.
Okay. I think we're good. Mike, are you ready?
I am, in fact, ready.
All right. I'm gonna. What's up? One more question, then we're gonna get out of here. All right.
No, I'm nothing. I just need to go. It's actually, yeah.
Now you're just breaking up. Is my internet dead? Let me see.
No, he broke up from me. That's his problem.
Well,
It's my Argentinian internet. Don't be racist. Okay, bye.
See you guys.
all right. Mike, I'm gonna do the countdown. I'm gonna get started. You ready?
Mike, you ready?
All right. Let me scroll the top here. Okay. 5, 4, 3. The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast, the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
Today's episode, we have news and games. Mike, How are you doing?
I'm grumpy.
Why?
Well, various reasons, but now I found out you have some sort of secret relationship going on with Yacht Club Games. Like, what the hell is happening? Explain yourself. I'm not waiting.
I'm playing Mina the Hollower. I'm playing it. I got a demo, and I don't see how that's weird. That seems perfectly normal to me.
Who else got a demo?
I don't know. A few other people. I've seen a couple videos on Twitch, maybe like last week or whatever, but not many people. I mean, they did reach out to me, and by me, they reached out to Jason Wilson, and he forwarded all his emails to me, so I got it, and I was like,
my
yes!
God. I'll tell you
Mine!
I'll tell you what, it actually makes me feel better that they, for whatever reason, reached out to Jason, who's not even here anymore. It's not like they reached out to you and sidestepped me, so okay, fine.
No, I just sidestepped you. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not even going to tell them this is it. I'll be like, yeah, please.
All right. I actually feel better now. I've been
playing it on Steam Deck, and that's a good way to play that. It's
oh my gosh. Well, you'll have to tell us how that is maybe at the end of the show when we talk about those kinds of things. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm having a week. I realized, not that I even really care, but I just realized that I set up a dentist appointment like months ago to be on Valentine's Day, and I just felt like that was like I'm a character in a sitcom. Who does that?
Okay. What? Wait, did you realize at the time you were doing it?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
It's like, because, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's technically a date, right? Like, you got a thing.
Technically, I believe it's not. No.
Well, I mean, like, you can say date you have to keep with the, like, it's like a date.
Should I bring flowers or chocolates, Jeff?
Probably not chocolates. This is to the dentist, so.
Oh, right, yes.
I think I got that one right.
Probably, I guess, yeah.
They'll be grumpy with you, too. Well, Mike, listen, if you don't have to be alone on Valentine's Day. We could all get together, do something after we all have, ours with our friends. Maybe late at night, we'll all get on the community game night and we'll play some romantic visual novel with you, Mike. How about that?
I hate you.
All right. First, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at GamesPlusPodcast@VentureBeat.com. It's always the best free way to reach us. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. If you are listening to this on the website player widget, you can subscribe to the audio version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. If you like the show, rate us on Apple Podcasts because that helps people find the show. If you are watching live on YouTube right now, please hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. It super duper helps people find the show when we're live. It makes a huge difference to their algorithm. Which is my favorite character from Space Jam 2. Thank you to the mods who are very helpful and trying to make everything better all the time, and I appreciate that. And you can support this show and get into the secret channels inside the Discord by going to patreon.com/GameMess. It gets you access to the private channels in the Discord. The Discord, otherwise free to join, discord.gg/GameMess. That link is in the description. Okay, Mike. We have a lot of news,
yes.
But I kind of trimmed it down a little bit, so it's not too much, but there's some big topics this week. I figured we'd start with NPD, though, since NPD Day was today. We can just get right into it. Does that sound good?
I was supposed to remind you about NPD. I'm a failure.
I mean, I asked you to remind me because I knew I would be a failure and forget as well. So.
Yeah, but I'm a backup failure.
Yeah, so yeah, but whatever. We forgot. I got the stories out eventually. They're all good. But yeah, it was it was January, and it kind of was everything we expected for the most part, except for maybe the hardware sales. And really the only reason we wouldn't expect this, which was PS5 was the top selling console for unit and dollar sales. Xbox was second place in both of those unit and dollar sales. It's just because they have been in such short supply, it felt like we would never see a month where they were both selling better than the Switch. But that's exactly what happened, and it just seems like they were able to make enough for January, and kind of it felt like all the ones they were trying to get ready for Christmas, they got like they got some of them out there, but mostly they were like they didn't have enough, and then they all showed up on like January 1st, and that's when people started buying them.
It's still a supply issue, not a demand issue.
Oh,
Penny,
yeah.
not today, Penny. I swear to God,
Penny's not in the mood.
I'll take you back to that farm where we got you. I don't care how long it's been.
You can take Penny with you to the dentist. There you go. There you don't have to be alone.
You look so cute. Oh, hi, Penny. Okay, you go bark out whatever you were barking.
Good girl. Very good. This was the best January for hardware sales in the United States since the January of 2009. So, clearly they could probably have easily beaten that number. That was in like the 400 million range. This was in like the high 300 million range. Probably could have beaten that number if supply was even higher, but of course, still constrained by that. The best-selling game was, of course, Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's like little surprise. Honestly, the big question is like, where's it going to place on the February chart when it has to go against Elden Ring and Dying Light 2 and Horizon Forbidden West? Best-selling games in January on PlayStation. Some highlights there. Number 1 was Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 2, Miles Morales. Miles Morales was like number 6, I think. Yeah, number 6 on the overall top 10.
I know I joked with you before, Jeff, about how, because like I remember the very first NPD Miles Morales showed up with you, like, that's kind of a disappointing placement. And I was like, well, there aren't many PlayStation 5s yet. I bet it has good legs. Even I didn't think it was going to have legs like this. And no, I will not make a spider pun.
It's clearly like the game that everyone who's getting PS5 is getting still. Even as other games come out, it just seems like Miles Morales is going to be that game. It's, it's having Mario Kart 8 Deluxe like legs, and this is something that Sony very much wants, and they're getting it from Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gonna, I think, kind of be their mascot on PlayStation going forward.
Right. It's gonna do this until Spider-Man 2 comes out, which probably not till next holiday season.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, at least. And then Madden NFL 22 was number 3 on PlayStation. On Xbox, some standouts and some interesting things here. Number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard, of course, but then number 5 is Halo Infinite. Number 6, Forza Horizon 5. And number 7, Rainbow Six Extraction. Those 3 games are actually on Game Pass, yet they are still selling copies enough to get into the top 10 on Xbox platforms. So clearly people still wanting to buy games. It would probably be, if they weren't on Game Pass, you'd imagine Halo and even Forza would be significantly higher. Rainbow Six Extraction actually might be a little low because... other games like what's the one? Overlord, Overshooter, Overwatch. What was that one called? That the other one. Overkill.
The one for People Can Fly.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That one was like ranked at like number 2 or number 3 in its launch month overall, not just like on Xbox. It was number 3 on Xbox as well, I think. And then there was a couple more of these. I think Back for Blood, I think was number 2 or number 3 when it launched on Xbox.
Outriders. Thank you, Chad. Outriders.
Thank you. I was stuck on Over. So it's like this one is like a big name brand from a big name publisher coming to Game Pass, but you would have kind of expected to at least do it as good as Outriders or Back for Blood.
Well, Outriders may have been a slower month, even. Back for Blood. I don't know, though. I don't know. I mean, there didn't seem to be very much talk about this Extraction, did there?
You're right.
I mean, it's coming in, like I think we all saw red flags of, there are a lot of these kinds of games coming out at once, aren't there, right?
Yes.
And Back for Blood got in there, I think, early enough. I think Extraction's hurting from being a little late to a trend now.
I think that's probably. I think fatigue is definitely an issue here. Still though, in the top 10 on Xbox, even though you can get it on Game Pass. I mean, beyond that, I mean, NPD it's like it was a pretty good month. Accessory sales were down, and software sales were down slightly, and that dragged down a big jump in hardware sales year over year. So the industry as a whole was down 2%, I believe, and really that's just because you're comparing to a January when. In 2021, there weren't a bunch of big new releases in January 2021. There was Hitman 3, but even that's not going to compare to Pokemon Legends Arceus. But really what you had happening that month is the people who were going out to get consoles, who were able to find a PS5 and able to find an Xbox Series X, were the most hardcore of the most hardcore, like spending hours of their day trying to track these things down. And when they did get them, they were buying extra controllers, a bunch of extra games. They were spending a ton of money. And the people that are getting them this January, still very hardcore, but maybe not all are getting like an extra DualSense along with their PlayStation 5. So accessory sales were down about 15%. That's just natural for this kind of the way that the ebb and flow of the industry goes.
Accessories make for great gifts too.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. Microsoft wants to bring Call of Duty and other Blizzard titles to PlayStation and Nintendo. And this is even after existing agreements sort of expire. So this was the big news earlier this week, Mike. I have the full quote here, and I kind of wanted to read it because I feel like there's like the more I read it, the more I see more squishy wiggle room in it. So I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, I know, right? Like that's my whole thing with this is that they keep getting more and more explicit with like, no, these games are coming out on PlayStation, and I'm still just like, maybe it's a me problem. Maybe I'm just still stuck in old ways, but I'm still just like getting that magnifying glass out, like looking at the Santa Claus, like note cards, right? Like looking for the fine line. Like, well, really, I don't believe you.
Oh, Call of Duty has to get married, or else it's gonna lose the Santa Claus. Yeah.
who would Call of Duty marry?
Yeah, Call of Duty would. I don't know.
Call of Duty would marry Honey Pop.
Yeah, there you go, Honey Pop, Call of Duty. Those crazy kids are gonna make it work. If they can make it work, love is real. All right, here's the full quote. Finally. And when I first read this, like everyone else, I think I was just like, that settles it. But like I said, I see some squishy wiggle room now. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. Now,
how altruistic.
Right, and I think that last sentence kind of makes it sound like, okay, they are talking long-term, but I just like, they said, we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. Now, we will make them available. Are they talking about games that haven't come out yet, or are they talking about these games that come out through the end of these agreements, and we're not going to take those games away from them and like stop selling them on other platforms? Is that what they're talking about? We're probably reading into it too much, but
I mean, there's still clearly a line here, right? Like they haven't been this generous with the Bethesda stuff. It's not like the next Gears of War is going to be coming to PlayStation. There are so many factors at play now, Jeff. There is the worry about eventual legal oversight, right? Like they seem to be getting away with this consolidation for now, but for how much longer? And we all know they have plans for more. So maybe it's like we have to say now that, well, this isn't really hurting the industry because we're going to probably still release these games on PlayStation and Switch, right? And also now Sony has Destiny, and even though they've been their language has been pretty like, yeah, Destiny can count for whatever, maybe they want to be like, yeah, it should, because we're still going to release Call of Duty on PlayStation forever, probably. So yeah, Destiny 3 should probably start being made for Xbox right now.
And like your point about this being about like regulation, I mean, that was what this whole blog post was about. This blog post wasn't like, oh, a note from Phil Spencer to PlayStation fans. This was a person like legal counsel or someone in charge of making sure that Microsoft complies with regulatory laws around the world, writing a blog post called "Adapting to New Regulations" and how they're trying to deal with like stores being regulated and taking that 30% cut and how they're going to deal with it in the future. In recent past, they've said they're going to open up the Microsoft Store on Windows and let people use any sort of commerce engine that they want. And what that means is instead of Microsoft processing the payment and taking 30%, you can basically get a third party that's going to take a lot less and have them process it, and then Microsoft doesn't get a cut, and only you get a cut, and this processor gets a cut. And they've talked about doing the same thing with the Xbox Store, and that was sort of the main thrust of this thing. And then they also talked about how they aren't going to take games away from their competitors as they acquire more and more things. Again, this does feel like a message meant for regulators more than fans. So, and you talk about that line, that line is going to, I think, be a moving target where for the most part, they're going to like say, yeah, a lot of times with Call of Duty, maybe it does make sense for it to be everywhere, but there might be a situation where it stops making sense and then we'll just stop doing it. And I think the same thing is true with Bungie, where right now Bungie's going to be independent. They're going to be self-publishing. They're going to be doing their own things, but all that stuff. And they said this in their earnings call when they talked about this to investors, Sony did. It's like that there are key metrics involved with that. And if they don't meet those key metrics, that leadership will be replaced with Sony chosen leadership, and they won't be independent anymore. And those games probably will start to be rethought. And if they make a game in the future that isn't necessarily just a straight up live service, that game probably will be exclusive and stuff like that. All those things are on the table. And what is written right now might not apply exactly the way it was written today, a year and a half from now, when they start actually figuring out what these games and what this deal is going to look like in reality. So
yeah. You know, like I want to see like what does Elder Scrolls 6 come out on, right? What happens with Diablo 4? What's with stuff like that? Because so much of this talk is just about Call of Duty right now, as if that's the only thing they've acquired recently, right?
Right. Yeah. It's it's the kind of thing where we just are going to have to see it play out, and every time, like, I feel like there was so many back and forth and so many words to digest with Bethesda. And the reality is, throughout that entire time, they were just they were running their quantitative analysis of what this would mean. They're probably doing the same thing here, and they probably haven't come to a final decision exactly what is going to happen to each specific game. But this definitely seems like, hey, regulators, we are at least considering this, and we want to do this, and we'll see what happens. And maybe, you know, they said we have committed to Sony that we will make these games available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement. Maybe the thing they're leaving off there is, as long as we can get Game Pass on PlayStation, all they do is say yes to that. Like, they could be leaving off some caveats here that we are not privy to.
Right. I just don't get excited. Be like, wow, Call of Duty is going to keep coming out on every console forever. Yes. I don't know. It certainly is a step there, though. So yeah, it's interesting times. Got to see it play out. It's going to be playing out over years, so there's not going to be any immediate answers to these questions.
Right. And even if this is their strategy at the beginning, those things could change. Now, that said, if this is how it's going to work, I still think that the value is there for Microsoft. They got a ton of stuff they could still just put in Game Pass. And Call of Duty on Game Pass is maybe a little bit different than even, like, if you were to release The Elder Scrolls 6, and it was on PlayStation, and it's on Xbox, but it's in Game Pass on Xbox. Like, okay, that probably does get some people to be like, I'll just get Xbox instead, because it's going to be cheaper for me in the long run. But I think with Call of Duty, like, you don't just think about buying this Call of Duty. You think about buying the next 5 Call of Duties all throughout this generation. Are you saying happy birthday, Xbox? Okay, sorry, I made that video where Usher says happy birthday, Xbox. And every couple of days, out of nowhere, they'll just come up to me and go, happy birthday, Xbox.
You love that clip.
Yes, I do love that clip. But yeah, like, I think with Call of Duty, it's like there's that audience is like, if I just get an Xbox, I know I'm going to get it on Game Pass. I can just subscribe to that, and there's a bunch of other stuff in there. And if Microsoft does start getting even more aggressive with sports games like NBA 2K and stuff like that, getting that into Game Pass sooner and sooner, that audience is like, there's a lot of overlap there. They probably could make a dent even without forcing Call of Duty to be exclusive to just Xbox. So, yeah. Okay, let's keep moving. Horizon Forbidden West is $10 cheaper on the web store. Basically, if you buy the PS4 version on the web store, it makes it clear that you can get the PS5 version, and it unlocks it for both. At least I think that's how it works. It's a mess.
Right, and they're being really quiet about it, and I think they're being quiet about it because they don't really want to advertise the fact that you can basically just get it for $10 cheaper. Like, we all know they kind of got pushed into this because they promised, like, up to this point, there's going to be cross-buy with these PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 games, and then Horizon got delayed, and it was like, well, we don't really want to do that, and then people got mad. Like, I guess we have to do that. So this is kind of like, well, we had to do it. We're not going to advertise it. We're not going to tell you about it, but yes, you can do it.
So yeah, it feels like if you want to save that money, you just go ahead and buy the PS4 version. I bet a lot of people still just going to buy the PS5 version, just not going to think about it.
Yeah. Well, because I think there are some people like, are we sure this is going to work?
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, and maybe it's like on day one it doesn't work, and on day one you spent your money, you want it to just work. It's like, oh yeah, we'll enable that tonight. Sorry, it's like this is a thing where you've got to wait to enable it. Sorry, everybody, it's just the way the tech works, and it feels like, again, like they are just sort of being a little bit dodgy on this. Feels like a blemish, a slight blemish on what is otherwise shaping up to be a pretty impressive launch, a pretty impressive game based on all indicators. So I don't know. I'm not going to hold this against the game by any means, but it's just weird that Sony's going to kind of be a little shifty about this. Gary Bowser has been sentenced to over 3 years in jail, 40 months. Gary Bowser, no relation to Bowser or Doug Bowser. He was the head of Team Executor, or he acquired Team Executor, something like that. Basically, he was making for-profit ways to hack Switch, and some of his software was causing problems with Switch, breaking Switch consoles, stuff like that. Basically, kind of like the kind of person that Nintendo would want to go after, especially when he's trying to make a for-profit business based on it. Well, they did, and there was a plea agreement where Gary Bowser agreed to pay a bunch of money, like $4 million, and yet on top of that, he still has to go to prison. Mike, a lot of people in my mentions on Twitter are like, good, throw the book at him. And I'm like, I think prison is a bit excessive for someone basically just kind of...
Yeah,
I get it, but it
not Nintendo jail, actual jail.
Yeah, actual
right.
prison. 3 years too, like 6 months.
It's weird.
I get it, but
it's a long time. I'll tell you what. I hope he's not like in there with the violent criminals,
Me too.
right? Like,
Yeah.
like it's got. Yeah, I agree. It's intense. I mean, look, you did break the law. There's consequences, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems a bit intense to me. That could be you, Jeff. You better be careful with all of your.
Yeah, right.
It's fun to break laws or whatever.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I will go on the lam so fast they'll never find me. They'll never catch up to me.
Jeff, the very first cop that comes up to you, you're probably going to like roll your eyes 20 times without realizing it, and then actually spit on his shoe, then get tased, and
It's just
yeah.
my natural reaction, like my body can't help
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, okay. I'll be so well disguised they'll never know it was me. It's gonna
You're
be
like the most distinguishable person I've ever met.
yeah, I'm screwed. I get it. Listen, I just don't want to believe it. I just don't want to believe it.
I tried. Look, it's the truth. You gotta learn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this other than this. I mean, what I said on Twitter is like Nintendo's a law firm. It's something we say on this podcast all the time. Nintendo of America.
Nintendo of America is a law firm, and
It's a
I mean,
law firm.
that is the weirdest thing was that we got like a press release from them, which is like normally the press releases they send when there's like sales milestones or they're announcing a game. It's like we sent this person to jail.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, Jesus.
Yeah. It's like they can't even help themselves. But it's like, honest. I mean, they do that because I think that's how you move up in Nintendo of America. Like those are the things. At Nintendo, if you work at Nintendo of America, what they want to see is results, and they usually want to see legal results that happened in American courts to show that the money that they're paying to run Nintendo of America is worth the cost of operation. And Howard Lincoln was their chief counsel, won a bunch of cases for them, brought in John Kirby, who Kirby's named after a lawyer. Now, John Kirby, awesome dude, absolutely, he was a really good lawyer, did a lot of great work on civil rights stuff. Awesome guy, died recently. Not like besmirching all lawyers, but just saying like the lawyers at Nintendo of America are the heroes in Nintendo's eyes. So if you're at Nintendo of America and you just want a big case against someone who was hurting Nintendo's bottom line, this is the kind of thing you take pride in because it's going to help your career. It's I don't know. To me, it continues to be a little bit of a bummer, a little bit excessive, but you probably just don't run a for-profit. Like if you're doing open source, if you're doing like stuff where you're volunteering and people are giving you like donations on the side, like that's Nintendo's probably going to ignore most of that. They do and they have. If you are like turning it into a commercial business, this is probably going to be inevitable. Not that I agree with it, but it's inevitable. Speaking of inevitable, Intellivision CEO Tommy Talarico has stepped down. He is being replaced by Phil Adam, who was previously the chief revenue officer. And they haven't made any revenue in the last 3 years. They've spent a lot of money.
There's no product in the last 3 years.
Right.
How could they?
I heard that they have like 6,000 pre-orders and they needed like 8,000 just to pay back the initial angel investor. Because like everyone they sell, every Amico they sell, they have to give $100 for each Amico they sell to the initial angel investor who gave them $800,000 until that $800,000 is paid back. And it's like they only have 6,000 pre-ordered or something like that. So they never even got past that hump.
So that's 6,000 people who will just pre-order any new video game console.
These
are
collectors.
Ouya early adopters.
I think it's even like, I don't even think it's, because Ouya did pretty well on Kickstarter.
Actually, you're right. Ouya did really well, yeah.
I think this is...
This is the people who were excited about the Phantom 20 years ago. Remember that?
And more, yes, Phantom and the new one and Morbid Curiosity. People who are like really wish they had a new one on their shelf. Like that's who's getting this because they're like, I'm never going to play this thing. I just want to make sure when it goes defunct, I have one for my collection.
Yes.
And that's not a great place to be. Also, Tommy Talarico is just, I mean, listen, I've always thought he was kind of a douchebag. Like even when he was like kind of just like covering games or whatever, and he was always making music at the same time, which was like the weird. Like you work on games, and yeah, but whatever. The things, the times have changed. That's fine, whatever. But even at the time, like he just had such a douchebag or aura about him, and none of that has changed. Especially like looking at television, Miko, hearing stories about him and the way he's like treated like volunteers at Video Games Live and things like that. I'm not too surprised that this is the end of the story for Tommy Talarico at Intellivision. I just like even from the beginning of this, buying the Intellivision name, like spending money on that, made like who cares about Intellivision? Like who was good? Like especially for the audience they were going for with this Amico. For people who don't know, it is like they're trying to like recreate the Wii. Like we want to like we want things to be simple. Go back to the good old days where games didn't have patches. And they were
yeah,
only
that's
$10.
what everybody really misses. That's what people talk about in 2022 is how much they miss the Wii. And anyways, Nintendo is just releasing Switch Sports now. So your entire console idea is just irrelevant.
Yeah, you really.
The console everybody already has is going to play all of those games.
Yep, it's just going to. I mean, and then you look at the trailer for this thing, and those games,
stock footage.
Yeah, stock footage, and the games that they've shown. They look like stuff that when you're at Kroger and they had like a CD shelf next to the magazines or whatever, and it was like 256 games in one, and there's a dolphin on the cover. Yeah, exactly, and it's rough. I don't know who this appeals to, but whatever. Like they were going for it. The real story here is Tommy Talarico stepping down. And now
he's still at that company, still like the chief creative officer or something. I don't know. The whole thing's clearly a dumpster fire. It's probably going to dissolve at any moment because they have like a new crowdfunding thing, and who would donate money to it now? Because as part of that, they had to release like their risk assessment financials, and it's bad. It's terrible. They even said like, oh, we probably can't last beyond like summer or something like that. So
yeah, wasn't there like an actual SEC auditor that like had to look into this stuff and like that
probably
was like brought it to a head, and I think the auditor was like, there is a strong possibility that no product called the Amico will ever ship, and it's like we know, we get it.
I tell you one guarantee is whatever happens, Tommy Talarico is going to blame the journalists. Yeah. It's going to be our fault that nobody wanted to buy an Amico because we had all of our lies about, which are true actually, about how it's based off of 5-year-old like smartphone technology or something.
Let's see. I want to see what his Twitter thing is. Okay, I'm going to see Tommy Talarico. Let's see his latest tweet.
I wonder if he's been quiet. If I was him, I'd be quiet recently.
Right, but I got a feeling he doesn't do that.
No, let's see. I don't think so. I mean, he used to be on all those like weird forums and stuff.
I'm sorry. I think Cliff Wazinski was like, I think he's saying like, oh, an old friend reached out to me. Great fella. He's gone through some shit. And Lordy, I tried to give him the best advice I could. And Tommy Talarico was like, heart. So like Tommy called Cliff for advice. So he's in a good place.
I don't know. He's just retweeting more promotion about it. Like he's retweeting cool video from Slopes Game Room and a very honest and fair as always. Let's chat about the Amigos, shall we? And like you have to imagine it was probably slightly on the pod side. I don't know. He's not giving up on it. He's still just tweeting about the Amico.
Gonna keep tweeting through this whole thing. All right. Let's move on. Take-Two had their revenue posted their revenue as part of their earnings report. It was up 5% to $903 million for the quarter. GTA 5 is at 160 million copies sold total. The series as a total is at 370 million. Let's see, GTA Trilogy beat Take-Two's expectations, sold around 10 million copies.
That's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, yes it is. Kind of feels like anything you slap Grand Theft Auto on, at least for now, like maybe the next thing will get punished for this, but if the next thing is Grand Theft Auto 6, it will not get punished for this.
No, they'll get away with it.
Let's see. Beating their expectations, I was like, bummer. Red Dead Redemption 2 is at 43 million copies sold. The series has sold 65 million. That's
don't gloss over that you're a big Red Dead hater. You go on and on about how amazing it is that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has sold that many.
That's a huge number. It's just massive. Like, I mean, there's no denying that the Rockstar game appeal is like second to almost none.
It is weird because it looks almost bad compared to Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is just such ridiculous anomaly though. Like nothing sells 40 million copies
No.
except for in recent memory, except for Red Dead Redemption 2 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Right. Mario Kart's this weird thing where it's like it's a port of an even older game, so it's just so bizarre. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is just people are like, hey, I want to buy a video game, and they go, okay, do I have Grand Theft Auto? No, I'm gonna get that. Do I have Red Dead Redemption 2? No, I'm gonna get that. And then they start looking at everything else. It just seems like those are the first two options for so many people. Still a bad game. NBA Series is at 121 million copies. That's another just massive success for that franchise. Borderlands 3. I have a theory about why they're sharing the series success and stuff, but hang on. Borderlands 3, 16 million. The series is at 74 million, and the Bioshock series is at 39 million. Mike, on last Friday, we talked about how they announced Grand Theft Auto 6 and said, hey, we're making that game. And they didn't make a big deal about, and we have job postings open. So we're like, maybe there's some bad news in the Take-Two earnings report. And it doesn't seem like that's the case.
No, there's nothing but good news.
And so I'm like reassessing that. I'll say, first of all, I was wrong. That was just incorrect. But I still think that they are looking to position themselves to make them look as strong as possible. So yes, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming. GTA, here's how much all these games have sold in total, and here's how much the series has sold over time. Look how successful we are historically, and look how successful we are right now. And you can.
Are they saying all this to attract an acquisition or to fend one off?
Fend one off, I think. I think that I think publishers in the position like Take-Two right now are in fend off mode, where they don't want their stock price to fall so that they become an easy target for either a hostile takeover or for a big juicy company to be like, hey, we'll talk to all your investors and your board and get them to agree and just agree to hand it over. So they want their stock price to be as high as possible. And I think the big reason for that is like the executives, they're defensive. They want to defend the power that they have, and they want to make sure that their legacies are secure and they look like big successes. And getting sort of acquired feels like losing a little bit, even if everyone involved gets a ton of money. Like Bobby Kotick clearly feels like he's losing, I think, but he's accepting it because he was already losing. He's getting a ton of money, and they don't want to be next to Bobby Kotick. Sure. So they are, I think they're trying to fend it off, trying to look as strong as possible. And I think that's because and then what I said like a couple weeks ago when the Activision deal went through and all these publishers were sort of freaking out, I think this is part of that reaction. Look how strong we are. And if someone wants to come and try to buy them now, well, now the price is super high and they'll get a ton of money. And then maybe it starts to be like, well, legacy schmegacy, let's sell because look how much money we're going to make for everybody. And now it just is a unqualified success. Sega Sammy, just real quick, their revenue was up 12.7% year over year. I'm trying to think of like what games like could have led to that, but I guess they have so many different businesses. I don't even know exactly where to start with that. Bandai Namco wants to invest $130 million in a metaverse project. I think it's like, of course, the metaverse thing is always absurd, but Bandai Namco has all those anime characters, right? And I feel like,
so we just mean crossover media, like online social room. That's the metaverse now. Okay.
Yes, I think so. But I also think a bunch of weebs would go for that. I think.
I guess I don't know. Like they made that Jump Force fighting game thing or whatever it was called, and like only did okay and was very. I think fair enough. Just ended support for it.
Yeah, but if like you can go into a game and have a conversation with an anime girl, that's a whole other ball of wax there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has had over 10 million downloads. That's another major success. One of the reasons that Bandai Namco is doing so well is because of this game. It's one of their key successes. One of the reasons we don't get Metal Gear Solid because they're just making Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel instead.
Bandai Namco does not own Metal Gear Solid.
I'm sorry. That's right. I'm mixing that up. Konami, it makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and they have Metal Gear Solid. So I just put that under Bandai Namco because I am dumb.
Don't worry, I'm here to correct your stupid mistakes.
Thank you. But that is the reason why we don't get Metal Gear Solids, because they're just making these other games that are cheaper and they make a lot of money.
Whatever. We're getting Klonoa from Bandai Namco, so they're all good in my books. We just got to get that Ridge Racer out of them, and then I'll be really happy.
Horizon Zero Dawn has sold 20 million copies. They announced this morning. More of these PlayStation games are getting over that 20 million copies sold hump. And that's just nothing but impressive. I think that it shows that their long-term approach to supporting these major franchises is paying off and will pay off in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to Steam probably helped a bit there, but I'm sure the majority of that is still
Yes.
happening on PlayStation. Yeah, that's great for, that was the first entry in a series. It's big for sequel. It's coming out soon. It's probably going to also do very well. I'm sure Gorilla and Sony are all very happy.
Yeah, God of War was back in the top 10 on the NPD because it came to PC. So, like, yes, it's exactly what happens there. Let's see. Platinum Games wants to do bigger, riskier games in the future, and probably more games as a service stuff.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit on Nintendogs.
Yeah, this stuff was translated, but they definitely said they want to do bigger, riskier games that people play for a longer time. And I think a lot of people took that to mean games as a service. I take that to mean live service games because they are already making one. And that's how you get people to engage for a long time. What do you think?
I mean, it could mean like a Skyrim or Miles Morales, I guess, but I don't think that's what they mean. I think they mean live service. But they have a live service game coming out. Right. We have Babylon's Fall. Let's see how that does. I bet not super great.
I bet so too. Just devastating news for people who love America's military. America's Army Proving Ground is shutting down after nearly 20 years. If you just love recruiting into the military, I tell you what, this was a hell of a thing. This was I played this. I played it. It came out. It was free. The government paid.
It was still a novelty to have like a free multiplayer shooter like that back in 2001 or whatever when this thing came out. Yeah, I remember I was in high school when it happened. I think I was still just playing like Counter-Strike instead or something. But I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean. I tried it a little bit, and then I didn't join the military, and then they kept it running for 20 years, and I feel like that's a failure. And hey, that's the government, though. What do you?
That's a funny alternate timeline. Jeff joined the military. Jeff, I tell you what, again with your just absolute love of authority figures, you in the military. Wow.
I always considered it as a possibility because I'm like, man, I have to do something about this this thing I have for authority. Maybe they'll beat it out of me or something.
Yeah, there you go. They'll get you into shape.
That did not work out. I think I'm better for it. Ubisoft's Rabbids collab with the Sandbox, a metaverse blockchain and NFT game.
Yeah. Well, that's the metaverse because there's more IP in it. That's a metaverse now. Look, we got these characters. They're in there. It's a metaverse. Go to the Ubisoft section of the metaverse. Watch a rabbit fuck Ezio or something. Wow, we did it. It's the future.
Rabbids NFT blockchain metaverse game is just such a threatening aura. There's something so sinister about that.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I wonder how Nintendo's like. You've got Mario in a Rabbids game. Could you please not fuck around and find out with NFTs and Rabbids, the thing that's standing right next to Mario?
By the way, what did you think about no Mario plus Rabbids at the Direct? I didn't think about that until kind of after the show.
I didn't think about it either. I mean. The games that didn't show up, especially ones we know about, I'm not too surprised. They filled out their schedule really like through September. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's maybe a little bit of time to put a game out in July. They probably won't put anything out big in July. But they have 2 games coming out in June, and they're going to have probably an E3 timeframe direct. And that's when they'll talk about, they'll give us definitely a Splatoon 3 date by then, and they'll give us Mario plus Rabbids and Sparks of Hope and stuff, and a bunch of other stuff. They'll probably give us a little bit about Metroid Prime at that time, the Metroid Prime remaster, not 4. I guess they might even wait on that until it's closer to November. But all the stuff we didn't hear about, I expect to hear about it by then. That's only 4 months away, right?
God, don't even say that. Jeez,
we're close. People are planning for that E3 timeframe right now, even though doesn't seem like there's anything happening with E3. Those people are still planning that stuff. So, let's see. This one came out of Bloomberg from Jason Schreier. Ubisoft turned an Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC codenamed Rift into a standalone game that could release late 2022, maybe early 2023. To me, this just seems like this seems like the thing. Like we could do this, and we want to make sure we have content coming out. But it also seems like consistent with their strategy. I talked a little bit this on Grubb Snacks, how they went from a blueprint strategy where it's like, here's the blueprint we're going to follow, and we're going to release a game in these certain blueprints, at least, or as if we can, annually. So here's the Assassin's Creed blueprint. We're going to get one of these out once per year. Now they're trying to go to a mothership and satellite model where there is a mothership game, which is a big, successful live service game. So Rainbow Six Siege, and then Rainbow Six Siege is going to have a bunch of satellites that are smaller games that come off the bottom and are sort of related to Siege, sort of related to Rainbow Six, and they're going to come out with those pretty frequently. I think this is like them trying to like maybe get a satellite up and running while they still are working on that Assassin's Creed live service game that is inevitable and
it's announced. Yeah, Assassin's Creed
Infinite. Yeah, God, that's right. They've just admitted they're doing that. I guess we'll see how that works out. But this makes sense. You know, it's
a little. I can't believe there ever was going to be yet another Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansion that would have been big enough to split off like that. Because there have already been 2, and there's already another big one coming out. Like, how much content were they planning for Valhalla? Jeez.
I feel at a certain point, it just feels like they got so much up and running because there's just so much people, like so many people at Ubisoft making content, that they sort of like just lost control of how big that game was getting. You're right. That game
already launched. It's far bigger than anybody. Yes. Most people will play through anyways. Like, there's expansions for it. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I can do it. Hang on, let me get my phone. If I say here, hang on, and listen, I'll probably get it to play on other people's TV right now too. Okay, Google, play Frozen on Disney Plus on dining room TV.
There you go. That's the good stuff. Born of cold and winter air and mountain rain combining.
Go upstairs, dude. Go upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, get out of here. Go. Gone. Get.
Frozen. It's on the TV. Go look. What kind of Frozen?
Oh, not that Frozen, Jeff. You blew it. Worst parent ever.
It's going. Go watch. I hope I played the right one. She says the one where Elsa goes into the water. Which one's that?
That would be Frozen 2.
Shit. All right. Well, hang on.
I can immediately help with this.
Thank you. You're very helpful. Okay, Google, play Frozen 2 on Disney Plus on dining room TV. All right, this is gonna work.
Have you shown her Little Mermaid? Does she know that there's a movie where a crab is a major character?
That's Addie likes the crabs. That's
Emmy.
No, Addie hasn't seen that since she's gotten into meeps, which is what she calls crabs. Everybody, if you're wondering, we gotta say crab, not crabs, because crabs is a whole other thing. Okay. Let's keep it going. I'm just gonna leave that all in the podcast, so everyone listening at home.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. All right. Lord of the Rings movie and gaming rights are up for sale. The price tag apparently is $2 billion. What the hell? Who's gonna buy this?
I mean, you assume Amazon. They're the ones who are investing heavily in Lord of the Rings stuff right now. I know they already canceled Lord of the Rings MMO, which is a little weird, but still, I mean, it's not going to be Warner Brothers. I don't know. Maybe Warner Brothers is going to feel so threatened that like we need some IP. We need to get back into this. We need to reinvest in this, especially because we have invested in games in the past. But like, it's not going to be a Disney or anything like that. I think it can only realistically be Amazon or Warner Brothers. I think it's going to be Amazon. They have that show coming out. They seem very high on it.
Like in September, is it?
Yeah, soonish. They're starting to like show stuff from it. But they have $1 zillion. Why wouldn't they? And they're getting into games.
Right, they already spent $1 billion on. They were making a Lord of the Rings MMO. Are they still doing that?
I think that got canceled. Got canceled.
Okay. So I mean, like that, like muddies the water a little bit, but I still think
muddies water a little bit. But they can do other things. Like, you can try again. Like, maybe whatever that Lord of the Rings MMO was, maybe they did something that's more like Lost Ark, like a more simple, like top down.
Yeah, I mean, they could just make
that'll work.
Yeah, make a Lord of the Rings Diablo clone like that one for Game Boy Advance or whatever it was. Just go ahead. Do one of those. That would probably do really well. You got all the character classes ready to go. Just go for it. Like, yeah.
And they could just, if they want to, they can still just license that out, I guess. But I think they're more concerned about the TV and film rights. Or film rights. They already have TV rights, apparently. Yes, I don't even understand.
I don't. I'm like, they're making the show. Don't they already have the rights? But apparently not.
Well, there's a Golem game coming out. Who had the rights for that? I don't really get it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Somebody's going to spend money on this. And it's probably going to be Amazon.
Yep. Let's see. Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 are real. Activision Blizzard has talked about this. And they said it was in their earnings report, and they said Infinity Ward is working on both. And then there's also word that there's a Warzone mobile coming, and that's the other mobile game that we've been hearing about, which makes just a million amount of sense. Like, just makes
right. Well, that was your headline call, or Activision Blizzard's going to compensate for the Fall 3 success for Call of Duty with more Call of Duty. Yeah, yes. Decline Call of Duty, more Call of Duty. Here you go.
Yep.
Here it comes. I mean, that that Modern Warfare brand is just so strong. Modern Warfare 2 is going to do very well.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's going to be a rebound year for them for sure. Okay, Mike, that does it for the news. I believe we got some super chats, and I would prefer if you were to read those right now.
Well, then I'll do it later. No, I'll do it now. Isaac Spencer says, hope you both have a great, safe weekend. Thank you, Isaac. You too. Ariel Delgado says Mario Kart 8 should be renamed Mario Kart Infinite. You know, Jeff, I wasn't paying super close attention to that trailer, but I know a lot of people feel like those tracks aren't looking as good as the normal Mario Kart 8 tracks, and there's some concern that they're sort of just being straight up lifted from Mario Kart Tour, which maybe makes some sense. I don't know. Are people panicking here? Maybe they're going to look nicer by the time they come out, or do you think it really is just, well, they're going to look worse because they're being ported from the mobile game?
I mean, I think both are true, that people are panicking, and also that it's probably going to look worse because it's coming from the mobile game. Hopefully they get spruced up enough, but I think it's probably not going to have the hover bike stuff, the hover cart stuff that happens. It doesn't look like it has any of that stuff if you look at that trailer. It's all older tracks, but even before they added that stuff into the older tracks in the original Mario Kart 8, right? Right, exactly. So, but I'm just not too worried about it. I think honestly, if I could have the tracks of Mario Kart Tour and just put in this game, that sounds good to me still, actually. So I'd rather play them in the good game than in the mobile game. So
sure.
Fantastic. That works for me. And I'll pay $25. I mean, I already got it. I got the expansion pass, or expansion pack. So yeah, count me in.
Delgado also sends a super chat saying there is a lot of concern because Microsoft said Activision games will remain multi-plat. Maybe not the new IPs. Do you think upcoming Bethesda sequels to old games will be exclusive or be on PlayStation? Yeah, this was kind of my question. Like, what's happening with Elder Scrolls 6? That's my big question. Where's going that? And that
I'll let you know. Elder Scrolls 6 is exclusive. Like they I mean, I know that. I mean, I don't think that has changed. I've heard repeatedly that it's going to be exclusive.
Okay,
so,
well then there you go.
There's your answer for Elder Scrolls 6. I don't know about new Activision IP and stuff like that, but I would imagine most new Activision Blizzard IP, for the most part, unless it's like a service game, is going to be probably exclusive to Game Pass.
T plus Violence plus Jess says mega butts, so thank you for that. Afro Ahmed says was looking for either Silk Song, Pixel Remaster, or Wind Waker HD, but got surprises like Chrono Cross, Live a Live, and Strikers. Direct gets a B from me. I see some people saying, "Oh, Chrono Cross sure does look rough." I mean, it kind of does, but also looks exactly like all the other PlayStation 1 remasters of JRPGs that Square Enix has done, where like the character models are like almost too up-res, and the backgrounds are still super blurry and kind of ugly looking because they were all pre-rendered for the most part. So, it is what it is. I just think it's nice to have those games ported, and once it's on PC, people can do things like Final Fantasy IX. There's a lot of great mods for making that look very good, actually. So if that's your concern, this is going to give people a chance to put that game in a place you'll probably be happier with if you don't want to just play what they're putting out. Paul Heyman says Microsoft needs to have better quality control for Game Pass. Crossfire X should not have been launched in the state that it's in. Jeff, I sent you a Crossfire X code. Did you ever see that? I wondered what you would have thought.
I saw it. I just didn't download it. I'm like, I got a preview build of that game with the single player campaign stuff, and I played through it. I'm like, this is pretty boring. And there's a lot of other games happening right now, and I'm just like, I'm probably just going to ignore this game, like I believe most people are going to do. I think most people are just gonna be like, oh yeah, Crossfire X came out. That's weird. That's when I was playing Elden Ring or Horizon or Dying Light 2 or a million other games, or Pokemon Legends Arceus, or was waiting for my Steam Deck. There's a million things happening right now. You kind of don't need to pay attention to a boring game.
I mean, how does this happen, though? I mean, they put Remedy on this, and Remedy usually does a good job. And apparently it's also just a buggy mess, too.
Right, I think that's the multiplayer side, which is Smilegate, which is the company that made the original Crossfire that was very popular and made a lot of money. It doesn't make a lot of sense because they have all the money in the world. I mean, Smilegate made $1 billion a year for like a decade just on this game. I don't know. It seems shitty. I don't buy it. Don't spend your time on it. Don't even download it from Game Pass. If just heed the warnings, everybody. Like, you don't. They should have some quality control, but also bad games happen, and just ignore them. Just move on. Play something else.
Afro Ahmed says, also, now that Square has revived Front Mission, Live a Live, and Chrono Cross, I think everything is on the table for their back catalog. Chrono Trigger is coming, maybe Terranigma, and Vagrant Story one day. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they do like those 3 games in a collection at some point. Was it Terranigma, not ActRaiser, that's also that company, but it was different. Terranigma, Soul Blazer, and Illusion of Gaia. There we go. I did it. Maybe those will get a collection thing someday. That'd be cool. Terranigma is another game that never actually got released in the US, so that would be neat. That'd be neat.
Chad is saying you had a close one there with the pronunciation.
I tell you what, I thought the same thing. I was hoping no one would notice.
Yep. I'm like, I was hoping so too, but I'm like, oh, too late.
Scared me there. Don't worry.
I think you just scraped by.
Look, guys, celebrate my successes, not my failures. I remembered Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia. Okay, we did it. I'm a superhero. Supernova says the satellite channel company MBC Saudi Arabia signs an agreement with Neom to establish a large budget game studio or AAA stuff. Did Kojima feel in this agreement? Will he make a snake or a Arabic? I don't know. Saudi Arabia invested a lot of things. They want to diversify their economy. That's what Jeff told me, and now I'm repeating things Jeff said to make me sound smart.
It's true. They want to diversify.
It's all oil right now.
It's all based on oil. Yep.
The future, it's going to be video games and wrestling.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
William Carana says, would Warcraft and Starcraft ports or games be Xbox exclusive? Gosh, first off, it's so weird because, are those things getting console ports? If Microsoft's part of that now, maybe. But it's not like Age of Empires is getting a timely console port even, right? So, so the question is the next Warcraft game going to come to PlayStation? Maybe, especially if it's more of a spin-off thing, like if they make a third-person action like Warcraft game, or if they finally make like something like StarCraft Ghost. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
I for the most part, I think I bet Blizzard stuff is going to be mostly multi-platform. Like even like Diablo 4, I think they've already confirmed is coming to PlayStation, so they're probably just going to let that come to PlayStation still. But in the future, I don't know. Probably if they look around to see like what other games they might make. If they make a new Rock and Roll Racing, that'll be exclusive to Xbox. There you go.
Warren Chu asks, will Starfield be on PC day one? Sort of like Play Anywhere titles. I mean, Starfield's got to be on PC day one, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Kyle Martin says, did you see the Martha is Dead devs say that Sony is making them change their story to launch on PlayStation platformers? PlayStation... Wait a second. Sorry. Did you see the Martha is Dead devs say that Sony is making them change their story to launch on PlayStation platforms? Any thoughts on that? Jeff, I have no idea what this is about.
I saw this, and it was like, I'm not going to read all that. I'm happy for you, or I'm sorry that happened. That was my thing where it was like, okay, but here, let me just read this. Martha is Dead PlayStation update. Martha is Dead is a narrative adventure recommended for adult audiences only, with play consisting of potentially discomforting scenes and themes that may distress players. Both Wired Productions and LKA have always been open and honest about Martha's Dead content, with the sensitive depictions and play consistently communicated to the media since the game was announced in 2019. This content is also flagged clearly and repeatedly within the game itself before play begins. It is with regret that we have had to modify the experience on PS5 and PS4 versions, with some elements no longer playable. After over 4 years of passion and hard work, developer LKA now requires extra time to make these unplanned changes. Martha's Dead, as a result, will still launch digitally on both PS5 and PS4 on Thursday, February 24th, 2022, but the physical retail release will be delayed to a yet-to-be-disclosed date. Although we anticipate this to only be a small number of weeks, our physical edition will still contain the bonus content of a double-sided poster, digital tarot cards, and Martha's Dead digital EP. We will update players with the date we ship with it, blah, blah, blah. The PC and Xbox versions of Martha is Dead are both unaffected by these developments and will launch with the full unedited gameplay.
So Sony's censoring them.
Yes. Sounds like... Oh, cool. You got a noisemaker. That's good. Can you take that upstairs? Yeah. Hang on. Let me yell at these kids.
No, that's good. Yeah, yell at them. Come on, Jeff. Get mean. Get mad. Yeah, tell him what's up. Say that's not okay. What the hell, guys? I'm down here potting with the incredible Mike Minotti. His time is very valuable. What are you doing?
Okay, I'm here.
Can I
Beautiful.
play Terrace? I don't know Terrace theme. Someday.
So yeah, I mean, I wonder, like, I wish I knew what the content was that they have to change. Like, I mean, maybe it's
Yeah, like what could it be? There's a lot of weird stuff in PlayStation games. Like
right,
maybe it's
yeah.
something real weird. I don't know.
Like, is it like child abuse or something like that? Where I'm like,
Right? Was
oh,
it like something like real rapey and like
yeah, real rapey
like,
would be like kind of thing where I'd be like, okay, I kind of maybe they
Right.
want to control what's on their store. It's there's no real great answer there, but I don't know. So if someone knows, let us know. As long as it won't get you banned from anything. Okay,
Right.
yeah, go
last
ahead, Mike.
one here. Jared Holder says, I was hoping to revisit Woohoo Island in Switch Sports, but maybe we will get one of the two Woohoo tracks in Mario Kart 8. What tracks do you want? Jeff, I'm not a super up on my Woohoo music track knowledge. I don't know if you've got an answer for this.
No, I don't. I can let you know what track from an old Mario Kart game I definitely want to be in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's thing, but that's probably not helpful to this question.
It's definitely that cloud track that has that incredible remix of the Gusty Garden theme from Mario Galaxy. That's going. Oh, here's a new one. ATL asks, how do you think a World of Warcraft RTS would do? I think it would do pretty well. I think it would do good, but that's the thing. Like, what's good anymore? Is
are you fucking with me right now? Isn't Warcraft an RTS?
Jeff, they haven't made a new RTS in like 22 years.
No, I know, but like, wasn't it always like before World of Warcraft? Wasn't it always a real-time strategy series?
RTS. He's asking if they made a new RTS game, how would it do?
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm not fucking with you. I'm not I'm not gaslighting you.
Yeah, what's happening right now? Am I going insane?
Yeah, they have Warcraft 3 came out in like 2001, so it's been a long time. But yeah, like how would it do now? Like that's the thing. It would do well, but it would do like Final Fantasy VII Remake well. It would not do Spider-Man Miles Morales well, right? Like what's well anymore? How because and what do people really want from their games now? They want really long legs or some kind of a long live servicing. There's something, whatever it is that brings money in constantly. Okay. Oh, here's another one here from Supernova. What do we expect from this year's Xbox conference? Will the duration be longer than 90 minutes? Will Starfield take a third of the time? Starfield has to be like a big focus, right?
Yeah, there's a sticker on my shoulder, Turbo Sean. Thank you. I just got this replacement sweater, and I'm like, oh, did a kid put a sticker on my shoulder? Nope, it's just there because I'm very stupid.
You're a spot.
Let's see. Yeah, Starfield, it will definitely be a big part of the Xbox conference. I think they've already confirmed that much. But I bet it's going to be a lot about all those games they've announced that we haven't heard about in quite some time, and we will get details on Perfect Dark and Avowed and everything else. We probably won't hear about the one from Rare, that the name is slipping my mind now. But we'll get updates on a lot of those games, and then probably a few other new things announced. Like maybe we'll see like what IOI is working on for them and stuff like that. Maybe we'll see gameplay for the Contraband and stuff like that. But yeah, Starfield's going to be big front and center. That's going to be their big thing. It gets a lot of gameplay, and for me, that's kind of all it needs to be.
All right, Jeff, I think we are caught up on Super Chats. If you guys have anything else you want to ask us, you can send it in, and we will read it before the show ends. Everwild is the name of that rare game. I was also forgetting the name of it and panicking. Jeff, what does the community want to ask us?
Yeah, let's see. We got a bunch of questions here starting with Bench JC. Do you think the fact that there are so many games right now will affect overall sales for games and maybe indie games? There's so much coming out and on the calendar that are from big publishers and small ones. It's crazy. Also, how is Mike's phone? Had to bring it up. Mike, how's your phone doing?
Yeah, I dropped my phone in the toilet, which isn't that big of an issue. It's waterproof. But then it was like there's water in the charging port. So I was like, okay, well, I'll wait for it to dry. And then it still wasn't working. So then I got a screwdriver and jammed it in there to clean dust, which was probably what actually broke it. So, I mean, I can still charge and everything. What I can't do is listen with like my normal like ear pods, or not like the wireless ones. They just have wired ones like a scrub, and those aren't working, and that
Okay.
distresses me. So I might have to go to like a Best Buy. I don't have an Apple store near me, so I might have to go to like a Best Buy and ask them to fix my lightning port or something.
Yeah, usually it's pretty easy for them to fix that stuff. So hopefully that's good for you. Let's see. I think, yeah, a lot of games are coming out. And...
Oh, Jeff, I did that. I accidentally stream elements because the super chats were breaking, and I saw that like I wasn't getting them fast enough, and I saw there was a refresh button, so I was like, I'll just click that, and apparently that actually messes up your interface there. I am sorry.
It just flashed off and on for a second. And
I noticed that too, and I didn't put it together that I did that until I actually thought about it when I saw you not yelling, but asking Christian if you did it. Nope, that was me.
Okay, I wouldn't have said anything the first time, but then it happened again, and I was like, okay, all right. But no, we're okay, good to know what's happening. Listen, there are a lot of games, and it's going to, people are going to have to choose. People have a budget. But I also think when people get really excited about games, there's also a tendency to be like, man, I'm having fun with this game. I'm going to go buy another game. So if they all come out and they're all good, there could be like a knock-on effect where people get into the one game and they get into the next one. But yeah, like there are going to probably be some games that are left behind too. If your game just isn't up to snuff, there's a good chance that it will get completely ignored. Like I think Crossfire X.
Yeah, Crossfire. Well, Crossfire, yeah. It's not, yeah. It certainly is rough if you're not making, there's so many options now, and there's so many resources for finding out what games are good. It's rough if you don't make a good game, or at least a game from a well-established franchise like Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. That's the only way you can get away with a bad game. Indie games are this whole other thing where it does seem like a bubble is bursting a little bit there, right, Jeff? And a lot of people are sort of worried about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's bad news for them, but that might be unrelated to just the sheer amount of games being released. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like when people talk about there are a lot of games being released, almost universally when the person says that, they are talking about a lot of big, expensive games are getting released. They're not talking about like, oh, there was 40 games released on the eShop this week, and all of them are bullshit shovelware. But there's like those games, those small little games that have to compete with all that other shovelware. Like nothing's changed for them. There's always been a lot of games coming out in the last couple of years. There's 4,000 games on the Switch already. So, standing out in that crowd's always been hard. From Casual, happy Valentine's to Jeff Che Grubb and Mike Musmucci. I like that one. I also just want to give a shout out to the Games Mess Discord community that's been super welcoming and nice. It is the best community on the internet. I mean, there's just no doubt there. Thank you for saying that, Casual.
Only community that has me.
There you go. So probably not the best on the internet now that I think about it. From Beef Hammer, happy Friday, boys. Question for each of you this week. For Jeff, how are you coping with the lack of any Kingdom Hearts news from the Direct? I know you were really hoping for a new game announcement. Are you doing fine? They still found a way to get it in there. They still found a way to say, hey, it's coming out tomorrow with the cloud versions on Switch. So I didn't completely escape its wrath.
Man, those things are going to be so awful. Thank God that I am getting a Steam Deck at some point this year, and I'm just like, I'll just download Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 collections on that, and that's how I can play Kingdom Hearts portably.
I'm dying to talk about the Steam Deck.
Could you install Kingdom Hearts from BNC? Tell me how it works.
I could, and I'll I haven't done it yet, so I'll say my guess is it's gonna run good. It's gonna run like based on what we saw in those videos from Linus tech tips and stuff. Performance on the Steam Deck seems very, very great, like across the board, like surprisingly good. So I can't wait to talk about my own personal experience, which I have not done publicly yet, per the embargo. All right, for Mike, while we didn't get Mother 3 in the Direct, we got Live a Live coming to the West. Is there any other Japanese-only games you know of that you want to get localized besides Mother 3? My vote is for Magical Vacation for the GBA.
Yeah, there's Terra Nigma, which actually came out to Europe, but not to the West. I need to look up this Front Mission game because I was talking about that for SNES, which is funny because they are doing that. I think it was Front Mission. There's like a Front Mission 2D game for the SNES that people, Front Mission series Gun Hazard. So I think that's the one. Yep, this is the one. Came out in 1996, only released in Japan. It's a 2D side scroller in the Front Mission franchise, and it's supposed to be really, really interesting. So there you go. Front Mission series, Gun Hazard. No, Jeff, I was right about a lot of things on Direct, by the way, and I meant to bring this up, but you scrubbed the Direct from the news, probably because we already did a whole separate video about it. But remember,
I have a list of Direct stuff that I was probably going to talk about, but I figured we'd get a lot of questions about it. So I figured we could talk about some of the throughout this. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
the one saying that the Mother stuff could just be Earthbound Beginnings and Earthbound, because I said that more NES and SNES games were coming. I said there would not be a Mario movie trailer. I said no way in hell that was happening.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's probably other things. You were right about Mario Strikers, though. You got that one pretty.
Yeah, that thinking about that one right beforehand, I'm like, so much line. Like, what else would Next Level really be working on? Also, it does line up with the World Cup, so they probably did we're looking ahead and be like, hey, why don't we just get Mario Strikers up and running for that? We released it that year. Be another sports game that we haven't done in a while. It's still strange because it's been 15 years since they did a Mario Strikers. So it's wild.
And they're acting like it hasn't been yeah, of course there's a new Mario Strikers.
Yeah.
It's been forever.
Yeah, 15 years is just it's wild. Time is just messed up. But yeah, and it's there was so much. I gotta hang on. We just lost the recording. Didn't lose it, but it stopped recording because I ran out of space. Let me fix that real quick. Let's see the video.
Jessica's gonna be playing back this video from YouTube and recording it directly from there. That's what you'll get for a podcast.
Let's see. So then I can delete all this stuff. Make sure I just don't delete that thing. All right.
Delete your Daisy folder.
Oh no, never.
I know you're sad that she's not going to be in Strikers, but that's the only way.
I can delete these exports. Those are usually pretty big.
Jeff, did they actually get rid of Daisy because we made her too sexy? Is that why she's not in that game?
I think so. This is just for the YouTubers right now. Yeah, I think they got her. She was too sexy to be allowed to live.
Be allowed to live. That's man. I mean, we say this. She could just be in the game. Like just because they showed a character select screen doesn't mean we saw the final character select screen. And there will probably be DLC characters like there's a ton for the what's that tennis. I was like, what's that thing called with the rackets? Tennis. The test game had a bunch of characters, right? So
yeah, I bet she's unlockable. I bet. Yeah. But right now, the threat of them releasing a Mario Strikers game without Daisy is real, and we have to deal with that.
So yeah, we have to all maybe accept this outcome.
I shared your secret, Shane, which is you're not actually that into Daisy.
Know.
You're much more into Rosalina. So
I can't believe you exposed me like that on Grubb Snacks.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, I know. I was in reality, I was I actually like Rosalina more. I know, my character is somehow I made one comment about. I just matter of factly stated that they made Daisy really sexy in the Strikers game. Isn't that everyone's
Mike, well, here it is.
Mike loves Daisy.
Mike loves it. Yeah, God.
I was oh, okay. I guess that's my thing now. But yes, I like Rosalina more. Actually.
Mike noticed her butt. Everybody, look at Mike noticing her butt.
It's like Rosalina, Daisy, and then Peach, down here somewhere.
That's messed up, man. Peach is way up there.
No
let's see. Raidu says you guys really like Nintendo Jail, huh? Listen, when I think of a headline, I can't stop myself. I'm like, I got to talk about this Daisy thing. So yeah.
Are we back?
We are back, but let's. I'm gonna go take a break to go help them actually get set up because it must not be working because they keep freaking out. I'll be right back, everybody. Mike's gonna entertain you.
I sure am. Paris theme.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, hello.
So what's poppin'?
Let's see if I can just play the terrace thing. Da 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 da. So it's no.
I don't even have access to that stream elements.
Yeah,
it's a different stream element.
I probably like that he blamed you.
That was funny.
Da da da. This better not be one of these weird half notes. Let me just see if I can find some tabs.
You almost get it.
Terra's theme, tin whistle notes. Here we go. Here's something. I was close, actually.
Shinobi trailer on Sunday, probably. They look. They do like to. Beautiful.
There you go. Found it. We did
Mike,
it.
now you can ban Nick if you want to. Now that you're an admin,
Finally. He starts begging for more codes or asks me to pay attention to him again one more
you
time.
can just rap shoot him.
Oh, I found this channel before. This guy's got a bunch of stuff, but they stopped doing things. Oh, here's Scars Time. Actually, I know how to play Scars Time. I don't need to look up tabs for it. I figured that one out on my own at some point.
Beautiful. Mike is gonna do the next Dragon Quest music for everybody. Gonna be all flute.
Right.
Nothing
Yes,
else.
That's right.
All right.
Let's
Continue.
do this. All right. Okay. Havutus asks, any chances of Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch? I have no idea, Mike. I conflate these. I've never played the Xenoblade games. Don't have much interest in
Okay.
them, so that's just me.
Xenoblade
You answer
Chronicles
it.
X was the one that only came out for Wii U. It's not as connected. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 are directly connected at first, but they kind of are, and that's why 3 is a sequel to both of them. X is more of a spin-off thing. It was like an open world thing. It's always weird because I hear some people like really clamor for this, and I hear other people like X wasn't even very good. I don't know. At some point, so after 2, they remade 1 for Switch. I bet after 3, they will probably port over X to Switch or Switch 2 or something.
Yeah, I feel like eventually all Wii U games get this treatment, so it's got to happen
Every
eventually.
Wii U game will, except for Star Fox.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, who gives a... Yeah. From Creaky Legs, Mike Mikerson. How in the horseradish sauce do you have time to play Final Fantasy XIV online and other games on top of your day job? I have been enraptured with this game the past 2 weeks, and I am level 34 as Conjurer now, and level 25 in the main scenario quest for A Realm Reborn. What's your secret? Are you a gamepad and or a mouse and keyboard player in the game? Oh, and hi, Jeff. Enjoy the weekend, you too.
I don't have a family. That's the secret. I play mouse and keyboard. That's much more comfortable for me. But,
Mike, okay, so here's what you're doing on Valentine's Day. You're finding love in Final Fantasy. Can you get married in that game?
Yes, absolutely. It's a whole thing.
So, there we go.
Yeah, that sounds like work.
I feel like
That's even more obnoxious than getting married in real life.
Creaky Legs, I will if
Creaky Legs is a Lalafell and a Lalafell girl like me.
Okay,
I think
anyone listening. It's right now. It's February 11th.
I'm not marrying Creaky Legs.
No, not marrying anyone we know. I will give you real American currency, like a significant, like not a ton of money. We're not talking 4 figures, but like I'm not talking to you. Okay, if you put together like a love game show for Mike on Valentine's Day, I will give you a significant like hundreds of dollars. Is what I'm talking about.
What do you mean a love game show?
Live streamed.
What do you mean a love game show?
Like you present 3 women for Mike's character to
they
marry.
better not be real women, to be clear.
Just women
Let's not make
characters.
anyone uncomfortable here.
I don't care about not like a real love. I'm talking about characters in the game. And you can set it up. I understand this would be real work. So,
and I mentioned I'm going to be at the dentist all day on Monday, actually.
And then so he'll be high. It'll be even better. All right. I love this idea. Sorry, Mike. You can begin listening again. Sorry.
Thank you. Wow, great. Mike's mom, right? That's right.
Rament Saka. Every gamer I've talked to has experienced video game burnout at one point. Considering your job revolves around gaming, has burnout ever affected you guys? How do you deal with it and make yourself excited to play games again? I'm not playing too much these days and have started reading books when I'm bored.
You know what? The only time I will get burnout sometimes is when friends come over and then they're like, let's play Mario Kart or something. I was like, let's just watch a video on YouTube, actually. But when it's just me, like, I don't know why, I'm usually can just go. And if I get bored, I'll just switch from one game to another. I really don't get too much burnout, but if anything, I'll just watch a video on YouTube instead or something. I'll go for a walk. That's it.
Yeah, I don't get too much. It's like, In the job, I see a lot of games I want to play, and I don't have a lot of time because there's so many other games I either have to play, or we're writing, or we're in meetings, or we're doing podcasts and stuff like that. And so it's like there's always stuff on the side. I'm like, oh man, I wish I had more time for that. But I definitely get like exhausted with certain kinds of games, and then I just stop playing those kinds of games for the most part. But also, I do try to keep a healthy balance of other stuff in my life. So yeah, like going for walks, reading books and stuff like that, listening to podcasts. Those kinds of things make it easier to, like, when I do go back to games, it feels like a treat still. For Bingy Bop, in case y'all missed it, kind of funny ranked Ohio the 32nd best state in their 50 states rankings.
Wow.
It's D tier. And
I was wondering about this. I saw that and I missed it. And I wrote Greg and said, don't forget, Ohio's the only state with a Mike Minotti in it. That's criminally low.
Where do you think they put Colorado?
Oh, they probably are like, oh, weed, ha, and like put it like 5 or something.
Okay, pretty close. They said, and conversely, you put Colorado at number 8, A tier. I feel like that's still not high enough. That's still not high enough.
Oh my God.
Just thought Jeff should know before making such a big decision. Shout out Utah at number 20. Also, when will you guys be tier ranking the 50 states? Thanks as always. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, we should. What is wrong with Ohio, man? It's beautiful here. We've got plenty of major cities with stuff going on. We got a big lake so you can do all your boating stuff. We get the 4 seasons. Very affordable here right now. Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's great. We have tons of Arby's. Arby's started here. It's just fantastic.
And he says weed, ha ha ha, was the reason, to be fair. So of course it was.
I bet. Yeah, absolutely. I see. Like, what was it about Ohio? Like, well, people make jokes about Ohio, so yeah, we don't like Ohio. It's based off of nothing. I bet none of them have even stepped foot in Ohio. Come on, Greg, come on over. I'll show you all the wonders of Ohio. The land.
Don't even enjoy the wonders of Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be great. I'll show you that building that used to be the first Arby's. It's gonna be fantastic.
Dude says major cities. Florida was number 50, right? I don't even need to ask. I know it was.
Florida's got Disney World.
Florida's number 50. Waffles, you're going to defend Florida?
Alabama was probably number 50, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, maybe Mississippi, maybe.
Sorry to any fans from Alabama.
Well, they're not their state. Just like you're not Ohio. Like it's not.
I am Ohio.
Mike Minotti is Ohio. Cool. I am the law, and I am Ohio.
Kansas was 50. I guess we just don't like suburban.
Florida was like 4 of these monsters. That is
disgusting. Number 1?
Yeah, well, it's got to be California because most of them are in California, right?
Maybe they're self-loathing Californians. Like me and you, we both don't like California that much. Although it has Disneyland. Florida was S tier. Yeah, Florida was S tier, Jeff. It has all the theme parks. Come on. Oh, California was number 1. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Waffle-sama, with Nintendo blowing us RPG fans out. I got to finish the sentence. With Nintendo blowing us RPG fans out of the water during the recent Direct, will Sony or Microsoft have RPG announcements just anywhere near as crazy this year? Anything to look forward to? Listen, but Microsoft's got all of the Western RPGs in the world. So if that's not what you mean, then probably not. PlayStation might have a few, but they also don't care really.
I mean, they're getting Final Fantasy 16,
right? Yeah.
Remake Part 2, Dragon Quest 12, a new Star Ocean.
Fair enough,
when the next Tales game comes out,
crazy. Star Ocean's crazy.
I hate Star Ocean.
That's why it's crazy that they're making another one. That's what I mean.
It looks real bad, I think, but they're making it. So that's happening. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It was man. I'll tell you what, it's so funny seeing Square Enix beat that one time. Be like, well, we gotta, we're gonna try to figure out if the Pixel remasters would do well on the Switch. We'll see if there's bodies there. And they're just like, yeah, let's remake Live a Live for Switch.
Yeah.
like, stop just lying to us.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break.
From Winnie. The Bungie Sony deal, as you speculated last week, seems very similar to their deal with Activision. Bungie is mostly independent. But if they don't hit metrics, the partners get more control. Is it just money and different partner that make Bungie want to enter a similar deal as the one they got out of? I know we don't have the paperwork, so it's all speculation. Just seemed as an interesting angle. I think what Winnie meant is very similar to the deal that Bungie previously had with Microsoft, not Activision. I think I was just Freudian the slip. I think that there is probably, they got a lot more money than they would have got from Microsoft, and obviously like They got a lot more money by buying themselves out, making Destiny, and then getting bought up years later again. So I think the high price tag was probably very convincing. And then also, the key metrics they probably do have to meet are probably pretty reasonable. They probably feel that they feel comfortable like they could do that. And also, they are going to be sort of this bell of the ball where they're like, anytime live service comes up, everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, we got to talk to Bungie. We got to talk to Bungie. And they're like, when you feel needed like that, you also feel like you can get away with a lot and you can ask for a lot. And they're probably going to be able to get away with a lot and ask for a lot for quite some time.
Hi, Tom Henderson.
Hey, Tom. From Sakelin. Do you think that Nintendo finally created Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC just to add value to their expansion pass subscription? It seems like a good coincidence. Bonus question, if Kirby would ever join Mario Kart, would Kirby just be a cart? Yeah, Cartby. Yeah, there we go.
I mean, he should ride his star, his like in Kirby Air Ride.
That'd be good too. Yeah, man, they should make a new Kirby Air Ride.
I'll tell you what, it's like the day after, that was my big takeaway from the Direct is I really, really want to play Kirby in the Forgotten Land. That looks so good.
It looks really fun. It's just a standout looking game. There's so much cool stuff happening there. A bunch of weird stuff. I love it. I think that it was just a confluence of things where Mario Kart 8 Deluxe continues to sell so well. They are remaking a lot of these old courses for the mobile version, so they have this stuff. They are trying to make the expansion pass more valuable. So, I mean, you're not wrong about that. I think it's all of those factors.
I think that's right.
Let's see. Velocity Prime 1. Bonjour, les familles de bouffe. Okay. Bonjour, les familles de bouffe et fromage. I believe that means the beef and cheddar boys in French.
I like that.
On the press site for the Nintendo Switch Sports, it reveals that one of the options for the new non-me avatars are anthropomorphic animals. Does this mean that Nintendo has finally caved to the crystal lovers out there and are officially sanctioning furry content in their games?
No, they're just terrified about the Connectimals making a comeback. They're just getting ahead of that.
They're trying to get ahead of the Connectable surge. Absolutely.
It is nice seeing this game without the old ugly Miis anymore. Like, the Miis were appealing for about 2 years, and then I got over it. So I like the new avatar look just fine. I
think that the new Miis are a little bit creepy, but I'm probably just...
Well, you're a little creepy.
Yeah, so it takes one to know one. Fair enough. Velocity Prime says, also, what Kirby mouth is your favorite? Has to be Scissor Lift Mouth. Scissor Lift Mouth is just such a suggestive name, I feel like. But,
the word scissor, is that what's doing it for you, Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yes. Listen.
You should play Honey Pop, you pervert.
I mean, got it on the Steam Deck, so yeah, I guess.
That's the other thing I was right about. You were like, somebody asked about Shredder's Revenge. I was like, I don't know if that's big enough for Direct. Like, it's big enough. And then no Shredder's Revenge. And then the next day they kind of released the trailer, which felt to me like we wanted this to be a Direct trailer, and Nintendo said no.
It was a PlayStation blog post, so it's clearly PlayStation marketing is happening instead, or else it would have been in the Direct, I think.
All right.
There was smaller stuff than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I know. But look, I was ultimately right about it not being in the Direct anyways.
You're right.
Playable Master Splinter, that's fine. I mean, obviously I'm just going to be
that.
April O'Neil, but hey.
Let's see, Dr. Suss. Weebs like Mike drooled over Daisy's figure so much they not only kicked her out of Striker Sequel, but also gave her replacement, Rosalina, no junk in the trunk at all. Are you happy, Mike? Are you? He is.
I haven't stared at Rosalina's ass yet. They probably did make it flat, huh? I'll tell you what. Oh, damn it. Is that the thing I say all the time? People say, I tell you what. I'm like Hank Hill. Yeah, that's a shame. Now, I almost brought it up. I was like, am I really going to stare at Rosalina's ass right now? I'm probably not, but that is a shame. There's no midriff, huh? They didn't give Rosalina like a sporty midriff. Like, what the heck? How am I ever supposed to function? I do like how one of the features of that game is to put more clothes on the characters.
Yes, I thought that was very much like one of the things that they probably had to say to like convince Nintendo to be like okay with it is like, listen, we're gonna let people add more stuff on top of them, so you don't even like see their body shape anymore.
Right. Yes, you will never have to stare at Princess Peach's ankles and feel uncomfortable again, Shiggy.
One Up versus CPU asks, that company making the Front Mission remake, Forever Entertainment, published Panzer Dragoon Remake and have Panzer Dragoon 2 and House of the Dead 1 and 2 remakes on the way. I guess their thing is remaking games the IP owners don't care enough about to remake themselves. They also have a deal with Nintendo to release several Switch games. What games that Nintendo doesn't care about could they be remaking? Probably Gumshoe, right? Probably Gumshoe, yeah.
Star Tropics, right? Yeah, remakes Star Tropics.
Yeah, and they're already doing Lycan games, so they're probably doing Hogan's Alley and stuff. So there you go. How are they going to remake House of the Dead? Do you think they're going to just use like Wiimote controls or the Joy-Con controls?
They could do that, or they could just do tapping the screen thing. Hey, Tom Henderson asks, "What did you think of the Nintendo leaker troll person?" Law. Who's that? Is there a Nintendo leaker troll person?
I don't know. I honestly, I like most of the time when that stuff happens, I just end up ignoring it because it always is a noise to the signal.
Oh, sure.
Where it's like I'm always like, I try not to like take that stuff to heart or put it into my head too much because it messes up like actual legitimate information I'm getting from real people, and I don't want to be like thinking, oh, I did hear about that. That's a real thing, and like, oh no, it's just from some weird leaker troll guy. From Laushin. Hey guys, I hope your week was a good one. I enjoyed watching the direct with you guys. And yes, I was screaming yes too when Strikers was shown. Loud enough that that customer my wife was talking to on the phone heard. Lol. Now that we were able to will Mario Strikers back into existence, what franchise or game do you guys want to make a comeback? I'm hoping for something in the Final Fantasy Tactics franchise to be made using HD 2D graphics. And thanks again for the great content.
Yeah, we have to be realistic. I can't just say Star Tropics here because that's actually not going to happen. Can't just say Punch Out because I feel like, that's also next level games. So I feel like after this, they're probably just going to make Luigi's Mansion 4. And we're still not actually sure this is next level games doing Strikers, but it's next level games. Come on. So yeah, I don't know, Jeff. Final Fantasy Tactics seems about as good as anything to me.
Just real quick, Tom just says the person tweeted out like 50-something details about the direct, and then afterwards deleted all the tweets that were wrong, and then everyone basically picked up on this person like, look at this person got everything right. I'm like, oh yeah. What I think about that is I respect the hustle.
Yeah, I was about to say almost kind of clever.
Right, I respect the hustle, and another reason why it's smart to not pay too much attention to the guys like that.
Exactly.
Like it's like there's always someone working the hustle.
Yeah, but it was the real answer is F-Zero. We got to will F-Zero back into existence. Yes. That's where all of our energy's got to go into.
I would, yes, I'm actually like super into F-Zero right now these days, playing a lot of it on Dolphin, playing the N64 version. Who knows? Who could say?
But whatever you're playing on, how's it look?
It looks fantastic. It's again, it's just can't wait to talk about some things. F-Zero is fantastic. F-Zero is so good, and we deserve more of it. Nintendo has shown a proclivity to go back to these franchises when we think they won't.
It's going to come back at some point.
It's going to come back. It's going to come back and start with a remake. Let's go there. Sure, why not? Let's see. Your new best friend, Engine 25. My question for you is, do you really want to taste it? You guys watch a Peacemaker? What else? That's from the theme song, in case Mike hasn't been watching.
No. I don't watch Peacemaker, but I do watch that intro video. It's very good.
Isn't it very good?
Yeah, it's very good. I know exactly what he meant. Yeah, do you really want to throw that dog invisible? Boom.
Yeah, the dancing's so good. Let's see. What else have you been watching while you wait for the biggest game release of spring, Kirby and the Forgotten Land?
Oh my God,
freaking out over the Jurassic World Dominion trailer. Mike, have you watched the Jurassic World Dominion trailer?
Yes, and as somebody who did not watch Jurassic World 2, I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
but yeah, there it is.
I'm like, that looks like there's some dinosaurs in Colorado. What the hell happened here?
All the Jurassic Park sequels are ruined for me because I remember that report about the original idea for Jurassic Park 4, where it was like basically going to be like one of those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoffs with like dinosaur human hybrids,
right?
Like a crack team of commandos
for the military.
Of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, and there's still like
they all lived like they like their home base was like an abandoned Romanian castle or something. And that's they all had names like Theseus and stuff. Like one of the dinosaurs I think was a computer hacker. So I'll just never actually get the Jurassic World that I want. Apparently, the second Jurassic World did some of that stuff, which shocks me. So maybe
I was say some of the DNAs because like the Velociraptor team that like follows around Chris Pratt or whatever was like they were gonna like use that for the military and stuff like that. So
and splicing is a big part of the Jurassic World like franchise. So like the splicing thing made it in there, but not quite to the like not to the sewer sharks level that I was expecting.
What do you think about getting the old gang back together, the whole cast?
I mean, it's always weird because it's cynical, but it still like works for me. Like I don't know, Ghostbusters Afterlife spoilers there, but like yeah, at the end there that hit for me. That was good. And there's a part of me that's like, oh wow, it's Grant. I like him. I like Jurassic
Yes.
Park 1 a lot, and wow, those three characters are on screen again. So it's kind of neat, even if it does still not exploitative, but it does.
Yeah, I
Feel
mean, it is
sort of.
like you're right. Ghostbusters Afterlife. You're right. There's
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think it kind of seems like it maybe pulled it off pretty well. So it's like there's
Yes.
ways to do it.
There are ways to do it, but there is this whole genre of sequel now. It's like the religious reverence sequel, where it's like we're almost making a movie that's worshiping an older movie, and it's like kind of fun to watch once because it's the member berries. I like the thing, but then it's like, well, why would I watch that again? I'll just watch the movie that it's talking about.
Yes, very good point. Epic Open World. If someone were to ask you guys your 3 favorite games in no particular order of all time, could you do it without much thought? Without hesitation?
Mega Man 3, Final Fantasy 14, Grim Fandango.
So he says yes. He says without hesitation, I would say Mass Effect 2, Witcher 3, and Yakuza 0. Breath of the Wild, Eco, and now I'm failing. Now the third one's going to be a problem. So
Link's
no,
Awakening,
I can't do it.
Jeff.
I'd have to think about it. I don't keep thinking.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. There you go. Yes, thank you, Mike. Mike knows better than I do.
I got you. You like Eco that much? Oh, that Eco. God, I always get it mixed up with the
everyone always
ICO.
does. Yeah, ECO.
Ico,
not,
right,
no,
yeah.
not
I'm
ICO.
surprised they didn't just do that remake yet. I wonder if that's still coming from Blue
Yeah,
Point.
I feel like that stock fell when Last Guardian came out, or Lost Guardian, whatever the hell it's called. But they'll come back around to it. They will come back.
Last Guardian came out before the remake of Shadows of Colossus.
But Shadows of Colossus is like its own thing. It's like kind of big enough on its own, I think. And I think and they probably did start before. But whatever. They'll get back on Ico.
I tell you what, thinking about Griffin thing, I'm on a big adventure game kick. It's been a while. I think, and I've been watching like a lot of videos about people who speedrun the King's Quest games. I think I've been thinking about King's Quest ever since Asmongold made fun of you for remembering. Maybe I'm going to stream some King's Quest at some point.
That'd be fun. I'd watch that.
Yeah. I remember I got King's Quest 6 as like one of the, like my dad, like when the CD-ROM stuff for PC was really early, you didn't just buy a PC and it like came with the CD-ROM drive. He bought a CD-ROM drive to like install into his PC, and it came with King's Quest 6 because it was like such a big deal, like a video game with voice acting and all that stuff. So I played King's Quest 6 back then, but I had no idea how to beat it. I was very dumb and didn't know about GameFAQs.
If we're going back to games like that, I'll go back to the old Sherlock Holmes games, because the first CD-ROM game that I played that was like, hey, it's a hella CD-ROM game with voices in FMV was one of those Sherlock Holmes mystery games where you had to just an adventure game and you were talking to people and they were facing the camera or whatever. I haven't played it in a long time. I'm like, I would love to go back to that. So
that's a whole genre that I find appealing, like Seventh Guest.
Yeah.
Or oh god, I remember there was a Nickelodeon like ripoff of that. Like it was like the more kid friendly version. I was like, does anybody even know? Is that preserved anywhere? I need to find it now.
And there was like the Rebel Squadron or Rogue Squad, not Rogue Squadron.
Oh no, yeah, the ones. Yes, the
Rebel.
ones with the FMV-ish ones. Rebel Strike.
Yeah, something like that. And it was the second one that had a ton of FMV.
Yes, it had a ton of it. I remember it had that Mystery Science 3000 mode where they had the overlay, and they just had like their people doing subtitles or something over the cutscenes, and it was very funny. It was very good stuff.
I
need to just play Myst 1. I never actually beaten Myst 1. That'd be fun to do.
From Ezizzy or Easy Izzy. Okay, Easy Izzy. Thank you for saying that. Who are we rooting for in the Super Bowl? I'm gonna root for Matt Stafford. So the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow. Well, I got to root for the best state in the world, Ohio. So I guess me and Jeff are against each other on this one.
You know what? I would love to see the Bengals win. I really can't lose here because I'm like, either one, I'm gonna be pretty happy. It would be cool to see the Bengals win, but also it's like, I don't know. Matt Stafford did his time in Detroit. I would like to see him get some success. But whatever. If the Bengals win, I will not be upset. From Louis Pizzelli. Hi, fellas. Happy Friday. I'm stoked for Horizon to finally come out next week. Feels like we've been waiting forever for that one, and excited that it is almost here. Before we get there, though, I have a question about Halo. Why haven't we seen a multiplayer roadmap yet? It's almost mid-February. Do you think we will see one soon?
I think we'll see one soon. I think that when when it came out and they had to address some of those bigger complaints there, I think that pushed development on other things back. I think they even said as much at some point. Plus, we know that they did take like a holiday break, which of course they should and they're entitled to, and it was probably a big rush to get that thing out. So I think soon. I know that like some people are panicking because concurrent like players has been down on a bunch of stuff, and it has been a while since there's really been any substantial content there. We're getting kind of towards the tail end of the season. I think a lot of people have already cleared out that season pass. So I imagine we're going to be hearing about new modes, new map packs, probably like that big mode, whatever it is, if it's a battle royale or something else, something to get excited about here. But yeah, I think basically them having to really quickly go in and add those playlists and some of those other things probably push things back a bit.
Delta Prime 84. Hey, beef and cheddar boys. First, I'd like to recommend to everyone a game on Steam called Dyson Sphere Program. It's a great Factorio style game where you are trying to build a Dyson sphere. And for people who don't know, a Dyson sphere is not a vacuum cleaner. It is a giant sphere of basically satellites that almost connect, that go around a planet or go around a star, maybe. They like to collect a bunch of energy. I can't remember if it's around a planet or around a star.
Have you ever seen the Star Trek The Next Generation episode Relics, the one where they find Scotty? There's a Dyson sphere in that. And that's why I know what a Dyson sphere is. So, and I've heard about this game. And because of the Star Trek connection, I'm like, ooh, I actually do want to check this out.
I have Dyson Sphere Program. It was like a big hit. It's made by an upcoming Chinese developer. I was very into the idea. I haven't touched it, so I'm like bound to get into it eventually. I just haven't had time. Now for my question. Is it possible Nintendo is doing the work on 48 Mario Kart tracks for DLC, not just for Mario Kart 8, but also a future Mario Kart equivalent of Smash Brothers Ultimate, i.e. every track from every Mario Kart ever is in the next Mario Kart?
I mean, I'm sure that there is some thought here of like, hey, when we do this, it's kind of like when one of the Pokemon games came out and they like took a lot of time and effort to make new 3D models of all the Pokemon. Like we can use these now for like all the games going forward for a while. I don't know if it's that extensive, but there's probably some thought of, hey, we might need these things again relatively soon here.
Yes, but I think mostly they're probably like, hey, yeah, we'll look forward to the future, but this is a great way to extend this game now while we continue to work on whatever Mario Kart 9 will turn into and be something different, and then we can kind of start fresh there. But if we do bring these tracks forward, it'll be easier to port them forward from now on. So you're not wrong. From Gerber. So what happened to one of you eating the spicy sandwich during the show?
It was only ever going to be Jeff. I can't eat spicy food. I got my Crohn's. It will hurt me.
Yeah,
and
so
Jeff,
we're not trying to injure Mike.
No.
And also mine, I did try to order it. They did not have it at my Arby's. And I wasn't.
I don't even know if it's a thing anymore already.
It was it was always a marketing stunt. It was always going to be.
Yeah.
Because it was like they're giving away a free shake. It was a thing to get headlines and stuff. That's what they do this all the time.
Arby's is smart. They always do. They always like have a new menu item to get you in there, and then you get it once, but then you're actually like, "Can I have a beef and cheddar, please?" And then you come back the next week because you're starving for that.
Yeah, we're just trying to emotionally hurt Mike. That is correct. That's right.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Yep. Let's see. From Jedi Moss, the Switch is the first console since the PS1 to reach 100 million units sold without a Call of Duty game, and the first console to hit 100 million without a Madden game released on its platform. Has any reason been given why either of these franchises haven't tried to put something out on what is a pretty popular platform? Third-party games sell pretty okay on the Switch compared to previous Nintendo systems. They don't sell well enough to sort of justify probably a huge amount of resources going into a Call of Duty, even a Madden. Like they have an old version of FIFA like sitting there, so they put that out, and that's what they do. And it's like, okay, that's easy money. And NBA,
other experiments like that, like they brought one of the WWE games to Switch, and that I don't think did very well. I know the port was really bad.
It was terrible.
I assume it didn't sell well.
Yeah, right, but the games that like do run pretty well, like Doom, I think did pretty good. I think even The Witcher 3, I think did pretty good. Skyrim, I think sold really well on the Switch.
Well,
yeah, those things that like they run well and they're great on the Switch and they're good games. They've been doing well. Indie games though that are like the kind of thing where you're not going to get a huge benefit from playing it on a home console, a dedicated home console or a PC. They tend to sell way better on the Switch. But the bigger the game is, the more likely people are going to be like, okay, yes, I could get on the Switch. It's going to look weird here or look bad. but maybe I should just get it on the PS5, PS4 instead. And the bigger the game is, the more likely they are to consider that. And especially like Call of Duty, so many people are playing that with their friends on certain platforms. That's like, we're going to focus people on those platforms instead. So I think that's just the reasoning, and it probably makes some sense as well. From VJ Incoming, happy Friday, everyone. I used to think that a Phoenix Wright anime would be great until they actually made one, and it turned out only okay. What's a video game that you, perhaps cautiously, think would be great adapted into an animated show of any kind?
Yeah, that's weird. I remember when I heard about the Kirby anime, that's interesting. Then I was like, I know people like that show. That show is weird. Like some of the characters are CG, some of them are 2D. There's like Kirby doesn't really talk or anything, so he's not much of a character. And there's like those two kids that do a lot of the talking. I don't know. I don't watch much TV. When was the last time I saw a show based off a video game? That Persona 4 anime was pretty good. But that's
Costume
like
Quest on Amazon Prime Video. There's one right there. I think that was only okay too, and it's also very different from the game. I mean, it's the same concept.
Monkey Island should be a show. There you go. Disney should do that. I don't know if they're going to make a Monkey Island game, but maybe Disney will do a Monkey Island show.
Yeah. I'll say Punch Out, and I think the reason it would be a problem is because it'd still be very racist, and it would get canceled for that. So there you go. From Jump Matt, why do you think the Switch never got themes or even folders? Was it something Satoru Iwata cared about more than the rest of Nintendo? I don't think it's like that. I think it's anything that might slow down the interface is what they're afraid of, because the Wii U's interface was so slow and everyone hated it, and they're probably like, listen, we made the interface fast and people are buying more games. Maybe correlation isn't causation, but maybe it is. Don't fuck that up. People are buying games, don't change anything. I think it's probably what they're thinking is. John 5 Alive says, hey guys, what were the chances Phil Spencer was visited by 3 ghosts in order to put Call of Duty on PlayStation? The ghosts of gaming past, present, and future.
The ghost of Duty of Publisher. Remember that old podcast? There you go.
I think that it is very likely that that's what happened. Because we know a rich person can't change their mind unless they're visited by 3 ghosts. That's the only thing that's ever changed a rich person's mind. So,
Jeff, you idiot, ghosts aren't real.
Okay, I'm sorry. What would be the 3 ghosts though? Because also like the ghosts of Christmas past would be, because that's like the pixie one, the sort of fairy.
That'd be Don Matrick. No,
he's the ghost of gaming like future or whatever. Like him, like
Blinks the Time Cat.
Blinks the Time Cat's pretty good.
Blinks the Time. I always say Blinks the Time Cat. People, I've been correct. Blinks the Time Spinner. Blinks the Time. Blinks
the Time Sweeper.
The time something. He's not the Time Cat apparently.
Time Sweeper.
Time Sweeper. Right. He's got the vacuum cleaner. Yeah. Blinks is one of them. And
so the present is the big gregarious one. I feel like, I just say ketchup from
ketchup from Chrono Cross. I think that's what caught your attention.
Yeah,
I know that makes no sense for Xbox.
His energy is very good. Yeah, I don't know.
His energy is very good. Maybe it's just the Duke controller.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh my god. Okay, and then the Ghost of Christmas or the Gaming Future is actually Don Matrick in a black hood, and you open up and he's like miserable in there, and like he's being torn apart by hands and stuff.
We figured it out. Great.
All right. Okay.
We'll have to remember to Photoshop that come next Christmas.
Yes. Danger Man Lee asks or says, I have discussion points. Number 1, Nintendo's comment about Switch being through its midway through its life cycle makes sense with Switch Sports. 99% certain will sell like bonkers. Definitely think a Switch 2 in 2024 is the most likely release year. And then parentheses, God to pray it won't be stuck on Samsung 8 nanometer as rumored. Hopefully that has changed. I think if it's by then, it probably will move down to like 6 nanometer or something like that.
Right. I mean, I know that was like a big discussion point last time with the original Switch, was that it was almost on like this cutoff point of, is it going to use a Tegra or a Tegra 2? And people feel like we got stuck with the Tegra 1 there. So who knows?
Yep. Yeah, I think that there's a good chance that they will make sure that the hardware that they invest in is much more future proof than this generation.
They'll have a lot more confidence going into this one. So yeah, they might be willing to be slightly more risky.
Yes, slightly. It's Nintendo. Number 2, NPD for this month will be interesting because nobody really knows which will be the top selling 4 or 5 games, what the top 4 or 5 selling games will be. Well, we know which ones they likely will be. We just don't know what order. So,
Right.
the top 4 will be Elden Ring, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Dying Light 2, and Horizon Forbidden West. And I think all those games are going to sell like crazy numbers. It says like Dying Light 2 already had like 3 million uniques or something like that. That's massive. And so it's like I still am putting Pokemon Legends Arceus on top, even without including digital, which is a wild thing. But but even now, like there's a very good chance that any one of those games could come out on top, especially the ones that are multi-platform games.
Yeah, I'll still say Elden Ring just because of the multi-platform angle in it. It's Elden Ring,
and it's a seriously good point. Seriously good chance that it does. Let's see, and then leading into that, Danger Man Leap's final point here is Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring are both upon us. Trying to complete both will be one big pain in the ass. I think most people are going to have to just pick one and then go to the other later, and that's fine. And listen, it's a good problem to have, too many games. From Jeremy G. You've got infinite funding to have a video game made based on your life. What studio is making it, and what genre is it? What Metacritic score does it finish with? Mike, why don't we do each other? Why don't you say who would do mine? And I'll say who.
Jeff's game.
Yes. What kind of genre would it be? Probably an open world crime game, right?
Open world crime game. It would be like it'll just be the people who made Octodad. Except you're just kind of Jeff and you're just kind of floating around while kids throw shit at you. That's how I imagine it.
That's totally shit. That is too real. Oh my god,
it'll get 60 Metacritic because it's like entertaining but kind of depressing.
Right? Yes, and it's like fun if like a streamer's playing it and making fun of it while it's happening. You would be a LucasArts adventure game where
I was going to say for myself.
Yes.
I said with infinite money, I was going to just find all the people who made Curse of Monkey Island and bring them back. Wow, Jeff, we just had a best friend moment. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, best friend. Yeah. Yes, I totally. That's it. I can't think of anything else for you. So like that has to be that.
That's great. I used to have dreams about making like my own point click adventure game back when I was like a kid, and all I thought about was video games. So I was going to start people like working at like a GameStop or something, having to like, I don't know, sneak into E3 or something. And the only joke I had planned out was like there'd be a pile of video game strategy guides, and if you examined it, he would go, "It's a miserable pile of secrets."
Still pretty good joke though.
Thank you.
All right, from Radu Ogdo. Hey GB crew, it's your probably only Romanian fan.
I get 100. I get 100 Metacritic, by the way, right? You didn't.
Oh yeah, you get 100. Yes, 100 Metacritic. 100%, of course. And you get the bonus money and all that stuff. It's your probably only Romanian fan. Finally made the jump to Patreon. Happy to be here. We're happy to have you. As a longtime Giant Bomb fan and loyal subscriber, let me tell you, it's great having a podcast with people that know what the fuck they're talking about. I kid because I love. Quick softball question. Best D-pads. My dark horse favorite is the Vita. Playing the Shovel Knight DLC campaigns, and boy, that D-pad sure is great. I never really used the Vita all that much. Was the D-pad pretty good on that thing?
Yeah, I like the Vita D-pad. It's like a place I'm weird with D-pads in that I'm never bothered. Like when people are like, this thing has an awful D-pad, I'm almost never really bothered by it that much. Like maybe a rare exception was GameCube's just because it was so small. But I talked before, I'm like a game controller chameleon where I'm kind of just fine with whatever. And same thing with the D-pads. They don't usually bother me very much. There's something that feels nice about like a Genesis D-pad though. I like those little the angles like have the groove and they have like the little like indentation there. That always kind of felt nice to me.
Just a couple more and then we'll be all caught up. Dan Park says Mario plus Windjammers. Why hasn't this been done yet? I don't know. That's a really fantastic idea. I love that. I think bringing the Mario aesthetic to Windjammers would be great. We should play that Windjammers too. It's a lot of fun.
I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet, so that's on the to-do list.
And we get to maybe have a game night, Turbo Sean.
There you go.
We'll see. Nick Turbo. Mike say Terra Caucasian.
Terra Caucasian. God, that was close.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-listen and decide whether or not I edit it.
I think I'm good.
I think you're probably good. Yes, but also it could be funny if I bleeped it. So,
oh no.
Benji Bop. Happy Friday, Jeff, Meep, Grubb, and Mike hits myself when Jeff upsets me, Minotti.
Don't hit yourself, Mike.
Yeah, well, I don't give a shit at you here.
That is such a kid thing. I knew exactly she's like, oh, she's doing that not because like she's so mad just to hit herself, but because she know her daddy's going to be like, oh, don't hit yourself.
I get mad at her when she does it. Now that we've had time to digest the direct, should we temper our expectations from those announcements? While it was fun to be caught up in all the nostalgia on Wednesday, I also got caught up in my nostalgia for Mario Golf and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and look how that turned out. Thanks as always, and have a great weekend. Listen, everyone's got to deal with this differently. I'm at a point in my life where I'm going to let myself get excited, and if a game disappoints me, I will move on with my life. I won't,
remember when we all assumed that Arceus was probably going to be bad?
Yes. Exactly. And it's like, listen, it's cool to be surprised. And like, you could be like, if you never expect anything, the worst that can happen is nothing disappoints you. And the best that happens is it could surprise you. I get that thinking, but something about like getting your hopes up and then have your expectations met and then exceeded. That's what happened to me with Breath of the Wild. I had high expectations for that and then it exceeded them. And it was like this magical moment of being like, oh my, I cannot believe this is happening. I think, yeah, and also, yeah, and if you get disappointed, you get disappointed, and we can all move on.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that big a deal. Getting disappointed isn't like this awful thing some people act like it is sometimes, you know? Especially getting disappointed by a video game.
Right.
I'll be fine. And there's some things like, come on, Mario Strikers is going to be good. If it's actually it's next level making it's probably going to be the best Mario game on the Switch. It probably already is somehow.
Yeah,
the best Mario sports game, I mean.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the orb on the field that you have to go collect to do your big superpower kick, I'm like, I hope that's balanced right, but
maybe also, maybe there's an option. Maybe you can toggle that.
Yeah,
see, you laugh, you make fun of me for no items in Smash Brothers, and look at you now. You beg for that option, huh?
I mean, the way it worked in the first one, and the first one was so good. I'm like, let's keep doing that way. So, but listen, I don't know. We'll try it. I will try it. We'll see. Mike, I am all caught up on the questions from the community, and if there are any more super chats, get to that while I reset this right now because I forgot to do that last week. So I'm gonna try to get better about this.
Okay, yeah, we got quite a few more super chats here. Possum Theory asks, "What's to stop Xbox or Sony from releasing cloud versions to beat antitrust regulations?" I read Mike's article. Why does Square neglect their 16-bit era? Well, they don't neglect their 16-bit era as long as it's not Final Fantasy, apparently. If you're live, you're going to be doing just fine. That first point there, what's to stop Xbox and Sony from releasing cloud versions to beat antitrust allegations? I mean, does that really skirt antitrust if it's just on the cloud, Jeff?
Well, I mean, if it's available everywhere, listen, it is going to be very difficult to understand how the FTC or the Department of Justice are going to frame what they consider to be anti-competitive behavior. Taking away Call of Duty feels like, if that's what they were going to do, if they were going to take away Call of Duty, it feels like even that is very hard to argue is super anti-competitive because there are other military shooters. Battlefield 2042 exists. It's not like these people don't have any of those. And it's like, also, are we defining games as just console games when there's billions of dollars being made on mobile and all these other things? So you have a monopoly in this one vertical of this one industry. That's not really what a monopoly is when we talk about monopoly. But obviously these companies are worried about it, and you could tell that based on that blog post from Microsoft this past week, and the way they speak about it speaks this idea that they want to make it look like they are not taking games away from other people. I do think that they will argue that having cloud versions of all these games available wherever, like, hey, it just works on TVs. You have a TV, don't you? Well, that would get you booed at a Blizzard conference at BlizzCon. It will be like the kind of thing where they go, oh, I do own a TV in Congress or whatever. So, yeah, you're right. This will be a good thing to help them fight against that, I think.
Supernova says, Mike is Uchiha Itachi, and I didn't know who this was, and I Googled, and it's a disgusting anime character from Naruto. So how dare you? How dare you? Radu Paracotagana says, we might as well just send you a nail file or spoon at this point, because that's the only way you're getting out of Nintendo jail. Say hi to Bowser. Yeah, Jeff, we got to be on good behavior. I want the Kirby code, damn it.
I know.
I made a big push for Metroid. We didn't make it in time. We're coming. I feel like the whole year angle might help.
Yes,
like, hey, it's been a year.
It's been a year.
We're sorry. I don't know.
Oh, okay, here's our strategy. Nintendo, stop listening.
Yes.
Let's have Rachel reach out. She's completely
new.
unassociated with all of the, like, she was not here at that time.
I might be a bit naked because like our PR person at Nintendo knows us.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what is it? Be like, oh yeah, well, we don't give codes to you because you're associated again. Be like, oh hey, I had nothing to do. Listen, naked or not, let's go for it. I don't care. I'm ready to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna. I want my opportunity to grovel though. I think I've been playing it in my head. And I think I've got a good strategy. I want to give it a go.
Probably one of the things you're best at. So
okay,
fair enough.
Chaos. I'll tell you what. Rachel will be our backup plan. Chaos Might says, "Is Metroid Prime Trilogy really going to the Switch, or is that just a rumor?"
Metroid Prime Trilogy is God. I wish I could just like erase things that I've said in the past. Metroid Prime Trilogy was an incorrect conflation. It is Metroid Prime 1 remaster that is happening, and I conflated that in the past with Metroid Prime Trilogy because I just assumed the Metroid Prime remaster that I was hearing about was the trilogy. Turns out it was just Metroid Prime 1. 2 and 3 might come later. But the thing that I've since corrected is Metroid Prime 1 remaster is coming, and it's coming for their 20th anniversary because Nintendo loves anniversaries, and that's later. That's November of this year. So at least that's the plan right now. It'll probably make it.
Magnum Visual says the cinematic trailer confirms that Aloy can fly. So talking about Horizon Forbidden West here. I wonder if that means the hang gliding thing, or could she fly? Maybe she can fly. I don't know.
What does it mean? Because okay, never mind.
She can mount the robots. Maybe she mounts with the flying robot.
Yeah, I think I saw people saying like, look, there's a co-piloting option. That means she could fly. I'm like, guys, let's talk about co-piloting in terms of accessibility, in terms of you have a controller and someone else has a controller.
Is that where this is coming from? Oh,
I'm like wondering because I saw some people doing that, and I'm like, oh, that's not what that means, y'all. But maybe I missed something. So fair enough.
I mean, you can fly in Pokemon Arc. You can't even really fly in Arceus. You kind of glide. Jared Helder asks, if you die tomorrow, what are your gaming regrets? Mine would be not beating Jeff at the Astro speedrunning thing we were doing. I beat him sometimes, but at the end, Jeff came out on top and I gave up.
I have no regrets because I beat him in that.
Damn it, Jeff.
I can't think of anything. I don't know. Probably not like getting super into From games. Like I like Sekiro, but like I've never really gotten into Dark Souls, and like I want to, but also every time I've tried, it's like not clicked for me right away.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh, I really do want to play like Dark Souls 1, but then when like the Demon Souls thing for PlayStation came out, I didn't really get into that.
Yeah, I played like 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm like, kind of just waiting for the magic to happen, and it's like I get it. Like it's hard. You learn the patterns and you get past it. I'm like, I've been doing this my entire life. I played Ninja Gaiden.
It is strange. Like it is basically video games. I mean, I'm sure they're good games, but I don't know. Like I played
against them. Just
right. Like I played all of Bloodborne is the only one I beat, and I did like it, but I certainly didn't have an experience with it. Like some people seem to have. And then Ariel Delgado says Ohio has Scott the Waz. Is Scott here? Where he's probably a Western
Scott
Ohio.
the Waz in Ohio? Wow. Okay. Cool.
Probably mid or west. I bet he doesn't give me northeastern Ohio vibes. I don't know.
I should move to Ohio so I can collab with him.
Oh, is that what it's going? Is that why you're going to move to Ohio? Jesus Christ! All right, Jeff, that's it for the super chats for now. Why don't you tell me about Mina?
Mina the Hollower is good. It's fun. I will be streaming this at some point very soon because basically they're like, hey, here's the code. Could you please tell people to go to our Kickstarter? I'm like, well, I'm not doing it in exchange for that, but of course it's just the part of the news. They have a Kickstarter right now, so
the Kickstarter is definitely way past its goal at this point.
Yeah, but I think they still. Hey, it turns out people want more money, and that makes sense. It's fine. I think this game is going to be very cool. It seems very in line with like Shovel Knight, where it's this old style game, and you play it, and it can be pretty aggressive and difficult, and you are going to like die, and then you have to go back and get back to your life and collect all your stuff again and keep progressing forward, and there's a lot of risk reward, and it feels very good to play. The jumping and then diving into the ground and then staying underground for a few seconds and then popping out and jumping again is something I got into immediately. I love the way it feels. Right, because it's like it feels very boingy, where like it feels like the controller I'm playing on doesn't have great haptics or anything like that, but it was just like conveying it through the animation and the sound and like the flashing on screen of like, okay, you're jumping in and it's like the ground is like pushing you back up. It's almost like this pressure's building back up. And then once it expires, you can no longer stay underground and you just come popping back up. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to jump over this gap, immediately go underground because that's what happens when you complete a jump. and then go forward a little bit, skate forward, pick up some momentum, and then as I come flying out, I'm gonna be able to get over this 2-space jump now. And it's like, okay, that feels fantastic. I'm struggling with the combat a little bit. They gave me a guide. They like this. It's a demo, and it's midway through the game, and I have like a hook shot as my main attack, and then you collect like secondary weapons that feel kind of similar to Castlevania's secondary weapons, and I'm like trying to keep these things at bay. I'm trying to you do like crowd control and spacing control, and I'm struggling with that because like it takes a couple hits to beat these things, and some of them just like swarm you so fast, just take you out so fast. I'm like, I think I might be missing something. Like, is there a dodge? I haven't been able to find it. Is there a way to like just pop underground for a second without having to jump? Or is it going to be like I need to be timing these things out and be looking ahead, and it's supposed to be this difficult? It's possible that that's the case. It's also possible that this game is not done and it's not fully balanced yet, and it's going to be there will be other options to make it easier to handle these battles. But even when I'm like struggling and dying frequently, I'm still having a very good time. It still feels very good, and the game just looks fantastic. Every time I get to a new room, and it's like another sort of element that I recognize from a Game Boy Color game, or even just a Game Boy game that has been colorized.
You just had to throw that in there.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm not just doing that to mess with you. It reminds me of Link's Awakening, and I am a Link's Awakening original stan. I don't like the way Link's Awakening DX looks. And so when I see stuff that's like, oh, that reminds me of Link's Awakening DX, or Link's Awakening, vanilla with its original green graphics, even though it's been colorized or whatever, it's still reminiscent of that. So I'm thinking of that. That's the stuff I'm going back to. And every time you get to a new room and you see another thing, like there's some enemies that are just straight up look like they're from that Zelda game. And there's big obstacles that look like they're taken from that. And it's just hitting that nostalgia. It looks gorgeous and it plays great. I'm super into it. I think that if you are at all a fan of Shovel Knight, I wouldn't hesitate to like go out there and like be like, yeah, I'm going to support this. But it is going to come out no matter what. So if you're in like the wait and see camp, feel free to wait and see and just buy the game when it comes out.
I just wonder if that's a weird opinion of yours, being like a Link's Awakening purist now. I wonder if most people are just like, I like the DX version. I have no issue with that.
I bet most people like the DX version, but it was like, it was formative to me. So like playing
Sure.
the pea soup green version in the back of the car on road trips, that's the thing I'm going to remember my entire life. So I'm sure that it's probably a slightly out of step thing. I just remember being so excited for the DX version, getting it, playing on a Boy Scout like camping trip. It must have been like summer camp or something with Boy Scouts, and being like, oh man, I'm gonna play so much of this, and I'm like, I don't think this looks very good. And I remember thinking that like right away and kind of being bummed out. So yeah, other Game Boy Color games look great though. So yeah. Mike, you have any games you want to talk about, or are there any more super chats you want to hit me with?
Let me talk about Lost Ark, because I started that yesterday.
Right.
I actually streamed the first couple hours of it. This is like Korean MMO. It's been a bunch of markets. It's been popular, and Amazon localized it for the West, and it's already doing really well. It's MMO, but it's like very Diablo-ish. It basically feels like a Diablo 3 with more MMO features, like the consistent world, the hub town, and all that stuff. Seems pretty fun so far. It is like, of course, it's like this slow beginning,
right?
There's a lot of tutorializing, a lot of like walking around. People are talking because there's a lot of lore dumps, and how much do I really care about the lore for this thing? Not a whole lot right now, as it turns out. I kind of wish like it was more of here's the hub town. Immediately, like go. Here's a list of dungeons you can do and go do that. And it's not like that. It's much more like Diablo. Like, go follow this story. And maybe we'll funnel you into a dungeon at some point here. So part of me is already like looking forward to, I don't know if you would call it endgame, where it's just like, I just want to go and fight things and get loot. And that's really all I care about. But the class, there seems to be a lot of good classes. That was an interesting choice just from the beginning. Looking at all of them, they all looked neat and interesting. I went with Paladin. And it's, I like I like any class where you're like reading a book, like, ooh, by reading this book, I cast a spell right here, right? Like, that's how magic works. You don't memorize spells. You have to read it from the book and get its book energy out there. Mm-hmm. The UI is ugly. I don't know what that is about. It has like, I think the people who are in charge of making fonts for these Square Enix remasters were in charge of the font for this one. Somebody said it might have something to do with like replacing an original Korean font. I don't really know
Right.
how that works. It is a free-to-play game, so there's like a ton of free-to-play menus. Like, here's your daily login bonus thing, and here's a million other checkmark things. Like, oh, you just got a treasure chest because you do this. Like, okay, and just like going through all that stuff, it can be a lot, but it certainly seems promising.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like one of those games that's like, oh yeah, it's going to get some attention when it launches, and whether or not it keeps that momentum, it at least has a good start, and that's better than not having a good start. So
Yes,
well, yeah, go
New
ahead.
World had a good start, and it seems like that's been falling off pretty hard.
Yeah,
maybe,
right. But
so.
it's like, again, like it's like people play New World, and if something new happens with it, they'll be like, oh, I had a good time with that. Maybe they're more likely to go back than if they
Sure.
never tried it in the first place. I guess I don't know, because like we talk about Destiny and like how it's hard to go back to that, and you kind of wish there was just a sequel. So maybe there's an
Right.
opposite effect there. But I don't know. It still seems like, hey, at least it had its initial success. It made some money, obviously, probably at its launch. Do you think this is going to be something that sticks around longer than New World? I don't know.
Well, one of the things that helps is that because it's already been out in other territories for a couple of years, they already have a pretty steady roadmap of
That's
content to
fair,
release.
yeah.
So that's going to apparently Christian's saying this. So like it's been in like an early. There's like a Founders Edition thing that people can play already, and the free to play version was supposed to come today, like for everybody. Apparently that got delayed. So I think there's like a hot fix or something, and I guess didn't hot fix very well. So I'm not sure when the game's actually going to be super available. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
All right, Mike. We should wrap up. What do you think about they're trying to replace Bender's voice on Futurama?
Well, I'm not a big Futurama fan like some people. I feel like I don't know.
Like Bender was the thing that, like, even though I didn't watch a lot of Futurama,
Sure.
I'm like, I still like, yeah, they probably shouldn't replace Bender.
Yeah. I've seen some people like very excited it's coming back. Other people like you already ended that show and it ended really well. I feel like Futurama just keeps coming back.
Right.
So I'm completely numb.
I honestly didn't know it was gone. So I totally agree.
Hey, Hitch asked the super chat, where the heck is Uncharted PC, lol? And I didn't even realize that wasn't out yet.
Yeah, when they released the updated version for PS5, it took me a minute to be like, oh, the PC version isn't out. I'm like,
Right.
I'm not gonna play it anytime soon because there's so many new games to play. But if they release that in the summer, that'll be fine. It'll still sell well. It'll probably come out this summer though. Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You find me on Twitter at Tokoto, TOLKOTO. I also I recorded the We Podcast and We Know Things podcast, and I think that's coming out on Monday on Valentine's Day. So check out We Podcast and We Know Things if you want to hear an interview with me.
Ooh. I have to edit a couple episodes of How Games Make Money, so keep an eye on that feed. There'll be 2 episodes coming in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a lot of editing, though, and I just haven't had time. It's just a wild time. I'll have my Steam Deck review in a couple of weeks as well, around the time that thing is launching. I'm going to probably do multiple takes on it, basically, is what I'm thinking right now, because there's multiple ways to approach using this thing. So look out for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try to clean up my house this weekend. Mike, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do? I probably do need to do some cleaning, too. There's a certain review game I need to be playing a lot of, really.
Yeah. Have you decided if you're going to do it?
I think I'm further than anyone else, and I tell you what, I've been trying to play a lot, but I'm still feeling like there's no way I'm meeting that embargo. It seems like another very, very big game.
I'm going to be on Jeff Kanata's podcast on Monday, and they said they were going to talk about it, so I'll be playing it as well, but I'm not. There's no way I'm going to beat it, because too much stuff happening.
It's like those things, like, I'm having fun doing a lot of this side content. Like, I don't want to just be like, well, now I got to push myself through the main story so I can review it.
Right. God, that's such a battle with this. I mean, the people you
hard.
should beat it. You should beat the game to review it. I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily always the best thing. I don't know if that's what you really want.
Right.
As someone
if
reading reviews.
Right. If I just spent 30 hours playing the game like I wanted to, instead of 30 hours rushing to the end, what's better? I don't know.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.